Hopefully, we're working. Happening, fishing friends. Welcome to another Debo Fishing Live. Of course,
Freaking
it is it is Debo and the bearded Mongolian there, old Dizzle. What are you up to, Dizzle?
Mongolian. Not much, man. Dude, the crazy thing is, obviously, I'm still on location here, but I just for S's and G's, I checked out the weather back yonder, and the other day it was 79, felt like 83. And then I'm looking at the weather here, and it's like 92, feels like 102.
Dang,
It's been brutal here, man. Just like I don't even know. Is
it's
it
nice
always
here.
like the? Jeez, you guys been getting rain too, or no?
Yeah, we got hammered. We got hammered.
It,
Hammered.
it,
What's happening, everyone? We'll do some quick updates. What's going on? Things and stuff with the peoples.
and the
Chasing
suches.
Gordita says Debo's still out on the water. No, actually, my wife was just cutting my hair. Now my wife does my hair and my fade and everything. She does a pretty good job because I was getting a little woolly and I hate like all the side hair. So we're doing that. It's Dad's birthday, so Mom and Dad came up. Pops and I were chatting. I just got done painting him some lures for his birthday. He wanted some deeper wally diver, so I did a shad blackback with a bleeding. It's supposed
Nice.
to look like it's all bleeding off. I
Those
did a
are like a
gill.
matte, more of like a matte too. I like those versus the shiny,
Oh, these don't
in
have
my
the clear
opinion.
coat on, is why.
Mm,
But I did get some stuff that they use on apparently like car parts sealing. For like when they seal, like you get like a fancy car part, and they have the hoods. You know that's what like KBS is the where you dip it, and it's not an epoxy. I forget what they call it.
a resin.
Maybe I don't remember, but anyway, they've got this stuff that they use on car parts that does a matte finish. And there were some people talking on the forums that that's what they use to make like the matte instead of the like the real glossy shiny. They wanted a clown. I don't know how well this one will show up. It's pretty bright red head, chartreuse back, light silvery. My take on a clown, since I didn't have this blank in Chrome. But that's what I just got done doing. So that's why my Instagram was me painting. If anybody's like, "What the hell is Depot doing?" We got a ton of members in here. I can see Nick, Eliza, Nick, Fat Boy Fishing, Chris Russ, Frank, GC. We got Randall, Pink Floyd, Ranger, Fish Daddy. Fish Daddy, thank you. I always have to say that the earbuds and the Bluetooth brought to you by Fish Daddy 401. Braden in here, Gramps in here. We got a whole bunch of people. Rob, what is happening, everyone? So
Heck
tonight,
yeah.
what do you have any other updates out there, Randall? Any fishing
No,
updates? You been catching
I
anything?
mean, I had. Oh my golly. I was swimming like, it was a pretty windblown day, and the crazy thing is it was one of those days you don't expect to really ever catch anything, and I was like, oh, let me go fish this jetty
That's
real
me every
quick.
day.
Right, but me too.
Break out
And
the
I'm
Floby.
God,
Good,
this
good call out,
bass came
Leslie.
up at this freaking chatterbait. I mean, seeing a bass in the water versus getting them out of the water, putting hands on them, you can't tell what they are or how big they are. But this thing flashed, and I had to guess mid fours, maybe upper, just a tank. And now every single day after that, I feel like I've just been going there and fishing the same spot, hoping the same outcome is going to happen and actually get to put hands on them. But no, it's just so
Mm,
freaking hot, man. If you don't get
mm.
out early in the morning and get
Yeah,
it done, you can't do anything.
yeah, that's the worst. We had that heat wave where we had um like the 100 and something heat index deal. This week was all nice, man. It was like I want to say 80s, higher 80s ish.
It must be nice.
Let's see.
God.
Joshua says I'm a clown. Is my face red? I got a little bit sunburned and I shaved. Dude, I am notorious at getting razor burn. I hate it. Randall, you look absolutely tan to the man. You've been hitting the UV beds. Good
No,
lord.
it's dude, just going outside for just I mean, I do it like we do. Once we go out, it's like, oh, one more cast. Okay, one more cast. Well, that cast doesn't count. That was a bad cast. Let me one more cast this. And then the next thing you know, I'm like walking back to my car and my gray shirt's now a dark gray. and I just feel like a roasted or boiled lobster.
Bold
Bold.
lobster. Oh, Rich is in here. The frog days of summer. That it is, Rich. I need to get on some more frogfish. I caught a few today on a buzzing toad. The Picasso, the little Picasso Hank Cherry buzz baits that I got that are meant for soft plastics. So they have, actually I can share. Nick already mentioned earlier, hey, you're not sharing. Let's see. So if I do this and go here, because I actually really liked it, is one I want to bring it up real quick. After one day using it, it was consistent most all of the day. I had to tune it like a couple times. Once, of course, after I caught a fish, and then once when like my plastic kind of got all helter skelter on it. Whoops, I don't want YouTube again. But otherwise, it was consistent the whole day, and I feel like I struggle to find a good like soft plastic buzz bait because there's not like a ton. There's more coming out now, but I always used to take like this old. I think it was a Booyah that had kind of like a collar on it and tried to push the frog, up on it. But now they've got like the Strike King Skip and Buzz. They've got the War Eagle ones. I know you and I use the War Eagle Buzz Toad. So more companies coming out with that, but I really like this one because it's smaller too. That's the other thing, is it's finesse. Actually, and I think I have the no, I think they're upstairs. Let me just show you. Anyway, I can go here. I will share real quick. And then we're going to talk Baitcaster versus spinning. So the whole premise tonight was because I don't know how many comments I get. Still, some of my most like watched videos are like my how to use a baitcaster or how to cast a baitcaster. Some of those, which makes me feel really good that I've got a ton of good comments on it. Like I think one is, I don't know, 1 million something views. I think one of them went 2 million if I remember correctly. I don't remember. A bunch of views, which is blows my mind that many people would watch it. But then you also have the people that watch. I guess they watch it. I don't know, but they say, "Here's the problem. Take your baitcaster and throw it in the water because you're an idiot." Here's the problem with baitcasters. They're stupid. They backlash. Use a spinning rod. All kinds of comments like that I read. And I'm like, if you hate baitcasters, why would you watch this video? Like it, I don't know. I get puzzled.
It makes no sense whatsoever. It's just like, hey, this is all about baitcasters, nothing about baitcasters. You clicked on the video knowing it's about baitcasters and you don't like baitcasters, but you watched
Yeah,
it.
it's not. Yeah, it's not like I would go onto a cake decorating channel and be like, decorating cakes is stupid. You're an idiot.
Cakes are bad for you. Don't
Yeah,
eat
I don't
them.
know. Cracks me up.
Makes
Some
no
people's
sense. But
kids, I guess. So let me share here. Microsoft Tackle Warehouse. Okay. So what I was talking about is, let's see, is this the right screen? Yes. Okay. I'm sorry. Trying to get my ducks in a row here, everybody. So if I go over to Picasso, and I haven't used a ton of the Picasso stuff. Jim, Tackle Junkie, is big on Picasso, and I honestly had never really used much of it. And that's kind of what made me look at these. I've got I don't think those, yeah, it must be these, the heavy cover shock blades. I've liked those. I haven't used them a ton. I only got a couple of them, but they have this like wire deal. And this was kind of when I was looking for chatterbaits not to lose, because one of the top 2 to 3 baits that I lose fishing around wood. I just, I throw them everywhere, then you get it caught. But anyway, it's got these like kind of wiry, I don't know if it's actually steel or if it's like a, I don't know. But anyway, for bank anglers, another good option instead of like the cross eyes.
just make sure and check your wires, Debo.
Yep, check your wires. Thank you, Randy. Check your wires. It's this one. So the Picasso Hank Cherry Toad Slayer Buzzbait. I'm a big fan. I got 3 of them. I got I think gold, black, and red. I was throwing the red one today because I couldn't find the other colors, and then I found them when I got home because it was like driving me nuts. But so you can see, like, it kind of gives you. Can I enlarge this? Oh lordy, that was too much. I guess I can't. I was gonna try to enlarge it, but for some reason it keeps shrinking that. But anyway, it's got that piece.
Never mind.
Whoops.
Keep going.
What is that?
What do you? Did
It
you
just
click on
popped up
something?
some side thing. I thought that was to make it bigger. But anyway,
Yeah.
it's got that piece that that really grabs the plastic. So if you're looking for a buzz bait specifically for putting soft plastics on, so I suppose you could put a paddle tail on it like they show here. I got it for like my buzz toads, buzz frogs. A number of different ways you could throw these, but that's by far my favorite is with like the buzz and toad. And I got it out of the monster bass box, which I felt like a dummy because I'd never heard of this plastic before. And it's not like it's some no name plastic. It is a Gary Yamamoto.
Gary, who's a
Uh,
what's it's?
was it under Yamamoto? Gary Yamamoto. What do they call it?
Oh,
Something frog. Maybe it's
did
discontinued,
you
is
pass
why.
it?
I
Was
don't.
it?
No, it's like a frog thing with flap round feet. Yama frog, I think, is what it's called. Maybe it's discontinued, but it's essentially got like two frog feet on the back of it. Looks sick in the water. Mine was black and red. I guess I could do this and share it real quick. We all can look it up. Yama frog. Pick a frog of your choice and put it on the back of there. Usually, I used to throw like the horny toads. So if you go to like Zoom, that was always my buzzing toad. Whoops, toad of choice. And now there's a bunch of them on the market. I was throwing the culprit and credit frog. That's the frog that never misses leg day. It's got the big legs on it.
It's got the
So
big
this is
hammies.
Yeah, the big hammies. This is the toad that I've always thrown. So if you want like a good, not like real intrusive, because some of them I feel like are too big, like they're meant to be fished as they're like on a soft plastic or on a weightless hook. You know, they're meant to be fished on their own as a soft plastic. Whereas some of the frogs definitely work a lot better. They don't work against the buzzbait as much. Is that a new color? I don't know that I've ever seen that color. That's wild.
That's a weird kind of. Hey, was
That's
that
pretty
frog
sick.
you were talking about, the Yamamoto? Did it have almost like a twister tail type of tail or legs to him?
Yeah, it's got like two kind of twistery tail looking legs to it, like two big
Yeah, it
round
just looks like
legs.
the topwater buzz toad is what I'm seeing here.
Oh gosh, that's a cool color too. I've never seen half
That
these colors.
is.
Man, that's pretty.
What brand is that?
Watermelon red pearl. I've always thrown black and white in these. Oh, look at watermelon crawfish. They must have come out with new colors. That's pretty too. But anyway, black or like a green pumpkin. Whoops. Like a
Nope.
dark green pumpkin. Okay, so coming back over, what else do we have? So let's talk about. Did I get any questions here? I don't want to miss anything. Cooler said I
Um,
like the Strike King. Strike King toad for my buzz bait. Yep, they have. I know they've got like the pack to it. Comes in a
mm-hmm.
um like comes with
Like
the
a,
buzz bait and the plastic on it.
yeah,
Uh
I've had luck on that one.
War Eagle does the same. They used to include a horny toad with it. Now I think they switched to something else, or vice versa.
Mm-hmm.
Let's see. Love a baitcaster. Okay, so we're starting to get into the baitcaster versus spinning. So like I said, that's kind of what stirred this because I get those comments every now and then where somebody's like, "Oh, I see your problem with a baitcaster. It's that you're using a baitcaster. You're an idiot." I'm like, okay. Um, so
No,
I
it's that
got
the handle's on the wrong side.
yes. So I got like two of those in a row the other day, and I was like, we should have a conversation about this because there's a lot of new people out there that I'm sure think, I'm going to start with a spinning. Is it even worth me going to a baitcaster? Then you see all these comments, if they're going to a forum or all that. There's some people that are just so against them. So I guess the number one thing that I would say to any new angler watching, if you're not, a Debo OG who's watched my channel for a long time, any new people watching this who have never used a baitcaster, or you just barely started getting into the baitcaster deal, a baitcaster is truly like anything else that you're learning and picking up. It just takes consistent practice. And I hate the saying of practice makes perfect because that's not true. You're always setting yourself up for failure with that comment. I hate it. Whoever said that, that's the biggest BS. Practice creates memory. So like, in MMA, I did MMA for 12, 13 years. And the more you practice and the more you do something consistently over and over and over, your brain will do it without you even thinking about it. And when you get in a fight, like, you step in the ring and you've got, I'm fighting this guy that's a wrestler and I want to sprawl on him. I want to try to keep it standing. you know, you can have this game plan, but when the shit hits the fan and stuff gets deep and you don't have time to think, you're going to revert back on what you've practiced. Your body's going to kick in, and it like, it's weird how it does it. But that's, I hate that saying, because it's, you know, people are like, oh, if I practice it, I'll be, you know, I'll be perfect in it. Even with a baitcaster, you're going to mess up. Even with a spinning reel, you're still going to have wind knots. You can, you know, twist the
Mm-hmm.
line into itself. You can get it wrapped around the tip. Spinning reels aren't perfect either. So that's the other thing that kind of bugs me. You know, you can get line twist, especially line twist with a spinning reel. Really
Yeah,
bad.
and that's one thing that I've kind of noticed is I've almost gone where I've used so many bait casters over and over and over and over again that I haven't gone back to a spinning rod, and then I'm not remembering the things you need to watch out for, like the wing or the wind knots, the way it just kind of gets wrapped around your eyes and things like that. And the next thing you know, you go to bomb a cast down to the back end, and like it goes and pink, and you're like, what the heck just happened there? And the next thing you know, you got to pull off half your spool.
Yep. Yep. A Randall Pink Floyd said, only thing I don't get is bait finesse setups. Just buy an ultralight. Dude, I am completely on that camp. I've got the SLX BFS, which actually I think that reel and that setup would be really nice. Maybe not the rod. I would have to test it. It might be too light. Um, but I think some of the bait finesse reels meant to throw like those really, really light things, and you can. But the thing I always like chuckle at is like, you see these people throwing these bait finesse, and I'm not like making fun of anybody that, like, if that's your thing, fishing is. I was just talking to Punch Fishing on this today. You know, he's a guy who likes to use high end stuff, and we were kind of talking about some gear back and forth. If you like to use high end gear because you think it feels better, or you know, you just want to spend a little bit more on your hobby, cool. You know, if you've only got a budget, cool. If you like to challenge yourself and use BFS only ultralight stuff, cool. You know, if you like to throw the big, huge 12-inch swim baits on big, heavy gear and that's all you want to do, cool. Fishing is completely different for everyone. So I want to make that clear that there's not a right and wrong way, you know, spinning versus bait casting. And if you want to use BFS, use it. But I agree with Randall Pink Floyd, and the way I fish and the stuff that I've done, I would just rather use an ultralight spinning setup. That's me.
Yeah, I
But I was
mean,
going to say,
the BFS
go
stuff
ahead.
is a total different type of thing. And I mean, I think I've casted your setup a couple of times a day. We went out trout fishing, but outside of that, I've never really looked into it, never really wanted to go down that route because, like I said, or like you said, and Randall Pink Floyd said, that it's like, dude, that's just go spinning, go super ultralight. In my opinion, it's going to be so much more fun when you do hook up with anything because it is such a light hook or a light setup. A half pounder is going to feel like a tank on your
Yeah,
super
and they've
light,
got that in casting too.
combo.
That's the thing, is like, they've got the same type of stuff in casting, and I guess the only way I could see it is, I guess I'm being kind of hypocritical, excuse me, because my argument against a lot of times spinning is, you can use spinning for certain things, but to me, bait casters are way more comfortable. I'd rather fish a bait caster more, you know, if I can. And I think that's what a lot of BFS guys, they just don't like the spinning stuff as much, and they just want to use a bait caster. So I get that. I get that argument. So I see both ways. It's just not for me. I did also see Jermaine's in here. What's up, Jermaine? How are you, man? He said, it's funny because I'm so awkward with a spinning rod. I've used a bait caster since I was 9. Yeah, like, it's all on how you've taught yourself, how you've learned. Um, Same thing for right and left retrieve. You know, people still will dog on me. Oh, this guy's an idiot. Why would you watch any of his videos? He casts with his right hand and then switches hands and reels. Again, I use. Did my internet just die? Or Randy, did yours just go out? I have no sound. Um, what happened? Okay, let me know, Fishing friends. I have no sound in my. Okay, so he just said it's not me. Let me.
Well, um, hello.
There we go. Okay. I don't know.
Okay.
Thank you, Randall, for so for those of you that don't know, I didn't pay my internet bill, and Randall said, "Hey, I've got a hack. I can show you how to get Walmart internet." And apparently they caught on to what I was doing here. I don't know what happened there. That was
Ha ha
strange.
ha ha. Yeah, that was really weird. I was like, oh my God, it wasn't, I actually remembered to um, turn off the Wi-Fi and just go straight 5G up in this piece.
So I don't know where I cut out, but I was kind of going around a circle of what I like, what I don't like. But what I wanted to talk about tonight was kind of some of the things that I use. So what do I use baitcasters for? What do I use spinning for? So I'm not a huge fan of. Oh, Cricket Trails made a good point too. The Zebco 33s. Yeah, actually, I think there are still a couple pros that use those. What do they call them? Not open or um, what do
No,
they call what do they call those reels?
like the hardcore Zepcos, the
Yeah, what do they call those though? Not
open,
is it
is it open spool?
inline? No, not inline.
In
What the heck do they call those?
God.
I can't believe I'm blanking on it. But anyway, those type of reels to skip. And again, a lot of guys learn that way. You know, if you don't want to pick up a baitcaster and learn it. Um, so actually, I'll start there. That's a good segue.
Spin cast?
Spin cast. There we go. Sorry. Yes. That's a good segue is spinning. So I learned to skip on spinning. Now I am not by any means a pro at skipping with a bait caster, but skipping with a spinning rod and reel, no problem at all. You can't get a backlash. You don't have to worry, you know, if you miss your target and you have to fix it. That is one thing that I will say still, if I have like a wacky rig or a fluke, I would rather skip it on a spinning rod because it's weightless. Not saying you can't on a bait caster. I'm sure the pros do it all the time. But that's one thing I still am more comfortable with on a spinning rig. Hey, Gabe's in here. What's up, Gabe? What did he say? One advantage of a spinning rod is you get that vertical drop due to the bail being open. Yep. Sometimes critical with the drop. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, that's a great point, dude. Yeah. Or if you're doing like a Demiki rig type, you know, thing where you can just kick it and be because the thing with a bait caster is if you don't have heavy enough of a weight on. So, like with a Texas rig or a jig, if you're flipping and pitching, sorry, that's my air compressor. I was just paying. My bad. If you don't have heavy of enough weight on, if you're trying to pull out line or you're doing anything to mess with the line, it's not going to have that untouched falling motion that you would get with a spinning reel. So that's a really good point. Paul, you're correct. Ned rig does catch fish. I love the old Ned. What do
So
you got, Randall? What's one
so what
thing
I
that
was
comes to
gonna
mind for
say,
you?
well, I mean, primarily I've kind of, just forced myself to do like almost, the BFS type of setup, but with my everyday kind of lighter setup combos. Just because I don't traditionally like you, I know you pretty much every time we go out, you have at least one spinning combo, if not two. So God, they just get so tangled up and it's just so annoying to me. And like, if they could just be better at not getting tangled, I think I would take a spinning rod more and I think I would enjoy it a little bit more. I don't have anything against them outside of the fact that I feel like they just get tangled up all the time. There are great applications for it. Like I said earlier, you catching a fish with, something that's easier to cast, easier to maybe, like you said earlier, skipping under a dock or something like that. You're not.
Yep. Did I lose you again, Randy? What in the world? Randy just froze on mine again. I think it's Randy, maybe. Oh, there we go. You're
No,
back.
I think
You're
it's
back.
you. I think it's you, maybe. I don't
You
know. Who
you were
knows?
back there.
I was gonna say I think it's overall, I think they're great. They're fun. It's a change of pace. You don't For me, it feels like more of a, just huck it and chuck it and just kind of get out there and fish type of scenario when I'm using a spinning rod. Versus a bait caster, I feel like I'm on a mission or I feel like I have to accomplish something when I have one of those in my hands. So
I did see one in here that was another really, really good point. Talked about casting accuracy. And that was, I had this one up for fishing with Gramps. Gramps, how are you, brother? He said, learning to skip baits is easy with the spinning rod, flukes, and Senkos. Gee, it's almost as if you had read my mind for that one. Let's see. So we got you, DEBO'S, and I'm at the spot where we froze the first time. Dizzle wins the staring contest. I got you. Randy's back. Now it's just Dizzle. Looks like that Casey's pizza hit Dizzle. Uh-oh, those Casey's B's and G's. Let's
B's
see.
and G's.
Love me some B's and G's. Well, I don't know where the comment went, but somebody said casting accuracy. So if I look at spinning rods, I think, yep, wacky rigs, light, weightless things, skipping is a lot easier for me on a spinning rig. Now, like I said, if I'm flipping a jig or, a Texas rig, something like that with a little bit more weight, I don't usually have an issue skipping on a baitcaster, but the weightless stuff, spinning rig. Now, if I go over to the other side where I think, what's the biggest thing for me on a baitcaster that I like? I guess number one is comfort, I should say. I would rather have a baitcaster in my hand fishing it all day if I could. It's more comfortable to me. But I guess two is, and I think most people are, way more accurate with a baitcaster. You can thumb the spool, the way you're casting it, you've got control the whole time. I know there's going to be people flooding the comments say, well, hell, I could hit a gnat's butt at 100 yards with my spinning rod. I never miss. I get it. I get that there's those people out there, but I think for the vast majority of people, bait casters are going to be a lot more accurate for folks once you learn it, once you get used to it, than a spinning rod. Now, like I said, that's not saying that you can't do that or be accurate with a spinning rod. And one thing that I will tell people, since I can get up and walk away, is don't be afraid to feather the line. So we do this on bait casters.
Hey,
oh,
hey. That was a nice sound there when your chair just like slowly went across the microphone's face.
DEBO'S fishing ASMR. Oh, and my mic's busted. Oh, I'm caught on something here. Oh my gosh, shambles. Oh no, my mic's broke. I'm losing internet access. What the hell is up with this mic?
I
don't know what I'm doing. This is my first podcast live. There we go. Okay, so anyway, what I was saying is you can feather with the spinning rod too. This is something that I feel like not a lot of people know or use. So you've got your spinning rod, you cast it like you normally would, you let go. And what I do is I'll put my thumb here as it's coming off right here, put my thumb here so the line hits it. So you can almost slow it down like you would a bait caster with your thumb, or, which is funny because Dad and I were just talking about this. He's like, I actually just pinch my line. So as you throw it out, he'll just kind of grab his line and feather it, just pinching it right here. He's like, that's how I've always done it the other day when we were out fishing. So either this way, you cast it out, it's coming off here, I'm just using my hand or my thumb to slow it down, or just pinching that line. So I feel like not a lot of people know about or do that, even if they've fished a spinning rod for quite a while. So if you've not tried that, do it. That helps me a lot with accuracy on it. But that's the big thing for me. What about you? If you think of a bait caster over a spinning rod, what is like, man, this is the biggest advantage for me?
Honestly, I feel like
I think I know yours.
What is it?
Go ahead. No, I'm just saying I think I know it.
I think overall, I think it's the beastiness, the size of just the overall, like the power. I feel more comfortable in the big kind of crossing their eyes hook set with a bait caster versus a spinning rod. I just feel like overall, like I feel like I can get more backbone out of it. I feel like there's just more cranking power with it. But I do also agree the way that a spinning rod sits in my hand, it kind of, the way I hold them, it kind of rests on my finger a little bit too much. And it just kind of starts to ache a little bit if I'm using that a bunch, where with the bait caster, I feel like I can switch it around and like hold it in different positions, different ways. And depending on which bait caster I'm using, I hold those in different ways as well. So I know we've talked about it in the past. There have been times where we've been out like frogging, and I'm like, man, my hand just hurts because I hold the frog rod in just one specific way. And I feel like that's how it is with a bait caster, with a spinning rod, because I just feel like there's only one way to really hold one of those, but that's just kind of my opinion.
Yep. Yep. That's a great point. And
What
that's
were you
true
gonna say?
across. I wrote it on the board because it's as a memento to your whiteboard sponsor, Randall. We haven't used it in a minute, but I'm going to put it up there so I can talk about it and don't forget it. But I was going to say across the board, that is one of the advantages too that I had written down is generally spinning rods of any, if you take a medium heavy, a heavy of any spinning rod, they're always going to be lighter and softer than the comparable casting rod.
Mm-hmm.
So generally, the spinning stuff's going to be softer. So yeah, for any sort of
But but what if I use a spinning reel upside down on a baitcaster rod
oh
and
man,
fish like this?
best of both worlds. Hey, if you like using a spinning reel and you need that backbone, problem solved. So I was actually going to say my efficiency. So I was going to say efficiency for a bait caster. So for a guy who likes to flip and pitch,
Mm-hmm.
throw a jig, pitch a Texas rig. Yeah, I guess even if you wanted to actually flip, you could flip both ways on a. So I'm talking just pitching really.
Sure.
Efficiency with a bait caster for something like that, I feel like is a lot easier. You're not having to open the bail and fumble with it and try to mess with it. You can just and you can click it in with one hand, pop it, reel it
Oh
in.
yeah. Yeah, it is kind of difficult when you get into that spinning because you want to have that one-handedness that you can kind of flip it out there, even if you're, backwards like a lot of people are, and cast with one hand and flip it over to the other hand to reel and all that stuff. Like for me, it's just it stays in my right hand. A lot of times I just sit there with my one hand and I'm just, pitching the little spots here, pitching the little spots there, and just working it. Where I couldn't do
Yep.
that. I mean, just with opening up the bail, the whole nine, and then closing the bail again, because I do occasionally get into that habit where I just start reeling to close the bail, and I know that's not the best for the reels themselves either. So I don't know. It's a give and take, I guess, with what you're more comfortable with. But for me, like I said a couple of
Yeah,
times now,
that's
it's the
that's really all what it
yeah.
comes down to. What are you more
Hmm.
comfortable with and what do you like? But for those people kind of on the fence, I thought it'd be a fun conversation. I'm seeing some good comments as I'm going through. Kuda, I got to ask, what's the deal behind this comment? I apologize to all the shark fisher people using 60-pound braid. There, I said it. Hello, everyone. So, are you against the heavy braid? I think we need to get your butt over here to Iowa, and I think I could make you a believer in the heavy braid pretty quick. I want to know. I want to know the background behind that. If you're still in here, I'm behind on comments. I'm at 812. It's not too bad, but spinning. Yep, John agrees. Spinning's definitely easier to skip.
There was a
Rob, I
comment.
made
I'm
this.
not sure who made it, but somebody. It wasn't even a Walmart Wi-Fi. It was a Cricket Wi-Fi that you've been on.
I did see that. Oh, my monthly cricket bill ran out. Aren't they the monthly like pay?
No, I thought the Crickets were like the old phones, or like
Oh yeah,
the for the elderly people that have the giant numbers on them.
well, I think
Maybe
they're the
that's
ones
not a
you pay.
Cricket.
Like you
Oh,
buy
that's a
them in the.
Jitterbug.
Yeah, you buy them in the store and they have just like a set amount, and then it's toast. I don't know if you can even recharge those, but good call. So Rob Harrison said, I made the decision to get my first baitcaster after watching DEBO'S instructional videos. Dude, that's freaking awesome. Quite a while ago, love them now, but we use spinning for certain things. Me too, Rob. Thank you, Mr. Rob Harrison. I appreciate you, brother. That's cool to hear. Creek and Trails said, I still have a Berkeley pistol grip. Dude, the Berkeley pistol grips. Oh my gosh. Oh,
God,
Hank Parker throwing the pistol grip back in the
those are
day.
so funny when you go back and
Dude,
like if you put on a Bill Dance like bloopers video and he's just got all these pistol grips that he's
hucking
just
the
chucking out there. I'm just like,
dude.
that is the funniest thing ever.
I still have my Zebco 33, Kevin. Yep, a lot of us grew up with those. Oh, here's a good one. So, does anybody throw the round bait casters? So, I know a lot of the big, the
Oh,
guys into the swim bait realm. So, like the Calcutta,
is it the ambassadors
those were the
for
Abus. Yep, the old
Abus?
Abu
Yep.
Ambassador. Yep, Calcutta, and what's the other one under it? Starts with the C as well, but the Shimano like round reels. A lot of the swim bait guys like them, for the bigger line capacity. One of Dad's buddies I know growing up loved those, And I remember he had an Abu. It must have been an ambassador back then, I guess. I don't know, but he had an Abu that looked so sick, and I'm like, oh man, that dude's like rich. He's got the sickest Abu around reel. Because dad, like I've used a baitcaster since I was young. Dad taught me, and like we never had super expensive stuff, but
Is it
decent,
the
decent gear.
Cardiff?
Cardiff,
Cardiff?
yeah,
Yeah.
Cardiff, yep. But I always remember looking at him, our buddy Joe, just thinking, "Oh, dude's
Is it
rich."
is it something new that they came out with recently where they've changed those from having the dual grips to the single grip on those?
So the power handle, yeah, I don't really remember. I'm sure it was probably big in the salt fishing community, but in the
Sure.
bass community, I guess I never got into like the big, heavy, crazy stuff like that.
Yeah.
In the bass world. But yeah, like you're talking about like the one bigger knob, like the power
Yeah.
crank and handle. Yeah, it's
Mm-hmm.
definitely something that's picked up from what I've seen. But like I said, I'm guessing it was probably big in the salt community, and at some time in the not so distant past, it
Pass.
kind of made it over into the bass world.
Have you used like one of the round baitcasters really ever?
I did. Yep. Yeah, I owned one. It was a Quantum. It was a gold Quantum. Couldn't tell you the name of it, but I used it. I ended up getting. I think Dad probably got it after I was in awe of our buddies. But it wasn't super expensive. Um, but I liked it. It was cool. I always thought it was just cool. You couldn't palm it, so like holding it, you had
Oh
to.
yeah.
That's the weird thing about those is you can't. Oh, knocking stuff over. You can't palm it like this. I guess some guys probably can. For me,
Sure.
I was always holding it like this, like under it. And of course, I was younger
Mm-hmm.
then too, so my hands weren't that big. But it was just a weird feel. But yeah, a lot of people are saying like, yeah, you can cast them a mile. That was the thing with those round ones is, yeah, you can launch a lure with them. And on
Sure.
on some of those, like the ambassador and stuff, like your line guide, I think with some of those big reels, it moves back and forth as you cast. So you don't have like a
Hmm.
line guide on a bait caster. You click it and throw it. Line guide sits there.
It
But
stays. Yeah.
on a lot of those, it moves back and forth, and they even have some of those big round reels that have no line guide. So you've got to thumb that baby. Yeah, you've got to be real good on the thumb. Like I said, I don't know much about them. I haven't got deep into the round stuff, but I did have an old Quantum. I thought it was the
I
bee's
will.
knees.
I will definitely pass on that because I'm not a big thumber. I just like to let Jesus take the wheel and huck it out there.
All right, here we go. I'm going for it. But the thing you have to keep in mind with a lot of those guys throwing those with no line guide, those saltwater things, they're throwing big heavy baits, out on the surf
Sure.
to try and really, really launch it. So it's not like you have to worry about,
The wind
backlashing
catching
with the
it and
wind
holding
not.
it up, and
Yeah,
yeah.
yep.
Hmm.
But I don't know. I am not a saltwater surf guy. So DC reels. I figured this was going to come up. So this is kind of one part of the DC reel. Sorry, I hit y'all again. One part of the DC reels that kind of merges over into that part of what we were just talking about. Why I would normally use a spinning rig. DC reels in wind and skipping definitely are good, especially if you're not that good at it, like me. Skipping a DC reel, and I know Jim Tackle Junkie talks about it, like the Corrado DC or the SLX DC. I forget which one, but he's like, dude, anybody can skip with that. Super easy, and that is one thing that those are good at. Distance casting on them, not that great. If you can use a bait caster, I don't think a DC reel is needed unless you're doing something like that or you really struggle with wind. But I would just say get like a Tatula 150 or something like that does, good in the wind. Or make sure you're using your thumb. Don't just give the thumbs up when you cast. Keep your thumb on the spool. But that is one thing I think DC reels. Now, Randy, I know you've gotten into the old SLX DC, and I think is it still one of your favorites?
It really is. It's my kind of spinning rod, or not spinning rod, but spinner bait, chatter bait kind of. I do throw a crank on it every once in a while, but it's primarily got something like a chatter bait or something like that tied onto it. But yeah, if I'm taking out four rods, it's gonna be that. It's gonna be my jig rod, a free rig, and probably a frog rod is what I'm gonna be taking out. So
I caught a couple on the free rig the other day, flipping and
it's a
pitching
good
at some
time.
tubes.
Yeah, definitely do that. It's a good time.
good. It's a good deal. It's a good thing. It's good
Yeah,
stuff.
it's good. I like it.
R
I
O
like
double
it.
D. Rob. What's the best baitcaster for no backlash? I see IG vids of guys bombing casts with no thumb and no backlash. So that's kind of like a marketing tactic. I've shown it on some of my vids. Like the thing with a baitcaster, once you get it dialed in, you just have to set that
Mm-hmm.
spool tension. So you get your baitcaster dialed in where you can make a good cast. And this knob here is your spool tension right here. Once you tighten that baby up a little bit, that's what's going to determine how much line or it continues to overrun, or I guess the spool continues to turn after that lure hits the water and stops. You tighten that up enough and you can cast without even touching the spool with your thumb and it will stop. No backlash. It looks great, but you're going to lose casting distance no matter what. So if you want to get those big long casts, you want to kind of ride on the edge of, oh, I feel like it's going to backlash. Because you want a free spool, right? You don't want something pushing on that spool pin the whole time if you're really going for distance. So don't get too caught up in that of, oh man, I still have to use my thumb to stop it before it hits.
And
It's
usually you're looking at high dollar reels when it comes to those guys that are really just kind of,
no,
getting it
I
bombed
mean,
out there. I mean, I have better luck anyway with my like more expensive stuff just because I feel like the tuning, and maybe it's just me being
oh, to
lazy. I feel
bomb it
like
out
I
there,
can,
you mean?
yeah, I feel like I
Oh
can
yeah,
tune it better, or there's more tuning opportunity in there versus, a run of the mill like bargain combo or something like that,
sure, yep, yeah. That's usually one thing you get in more expensive reels is casting distance for sure. Yep.
hmm
Let's see, big knobs. Yes, Liza, I do like big knobs. I'm a fan of the big knobs. I know that sounds kind of strange, but I do like them. Let's see, Olson. Let's see who we got. Way more accurate with it, so I'm behind now. Way more accurate with the baitcaster. Um, I do the same. So Tom was saying he does the same as my dad, feathering the line with the hand. Yep, that's a good way to do it too. Doesn't matter how you do it. Just it's one thing that I don't think people think about. You can still kind of feather it.
hmm
Let's see, backlash. Backlash is greater than a win knot. Now I don't know which way you're saying is greater than. Backlash is better than a win knot, or backlash is greater than, as opposed in the evil spectrum. I'm not sure what you're talking about, pike and tackle, but I would much rather just pick out a backlash than deal with a big old win knot.
Yeah, usually I feel like a win notch, it's really in there. It's really dug into itself, and it usually ends up getting cut out.
10 horse Gabe, yep. That's one thing. Pitching is a lot easier on a baitcaster. Absolutely. Efficiency. So the
Fish
pros used to
in
flip with spinning
C.
rods. Yeah, I mean you could flip with a
You
spinning rod
you
or
you
baitcaster,
missed you
doesn't
missed
matter.
it.
Yeah.
I
What's
said
that? Sorry.
E. I said E fish in C.
Oh, pun intended. Oh, Randall. He'll be here all night, folks. Don't forget to tip your waitress. Cooler also got a baitcaster after watching my vids. That is cool. He said that's why you're a cool cat. Thanks, brother. Any tips for casting weightless on a baitcaster? So
Yeesh.
the whole thing is you look at it as a system. So if you have a heavy rod with 17-pound line on it and you're trying to throw a weightless bait, it's going to be a lot harder. I'm not saying you can't do it. You certainly can if you have a heavy enough plastic. But look at the system as a whole. So if you go, instead of that heavy rod, go to like a medium power with lighter line. So maybe I think 12 is usually my go-to, like weightless stick bait, or 15, depending on what you're around. Uh, so 15-pound line, we'll say, kind of as an all-around go-to. With instead of going like with a real small plastic, start out with like a 5-inch stick bait. And then when you're looking at hooks, don't go with like a super light, ultra tiny hook. Go with like your regular wire, run of the mill EWG hook. This is just a regular 3/0 standard wire EWG. So you're going to get a little bit of weight from the hook. A 5-inch stick bait, most of them have salt in them. They're heavy enough you can cast. With a medium power rod, you can load that lure, and lighter line will help. So the heavier rod, heavier line you go up into, it's going to make throwing a weightless lure a lot harder. Again,
Yeah,
not
I
say
think
that it can't be done. You can, but
I was going to say the big thing I think for me when throwing, some kind of weightless is getting, out of the mindset of the weight of the lure is going to be able to carry it out for you. Occasionally what will happen is I'll
that's
get,
a real good point.
that
Real
kind of
good
like
point.
slingshotty type of
Yes.
reaction.
Yep.
And that usually messes me up a couple of times, and then I kind of stick it in my head of like, hey, you can't do that, you gotta be more attentive to how you're casting. So it's just one of those things, just like switching between a half ounce and then maybe like a quarter ounce. You gotta pay attention to what you're throwing, and make mental notes of it. At least I do anyway, so I don't forget and I don't mess myself up
Yeah,
overall.
dude, that's a great point. You can a heavier lure. So let's say I'm throwing a half-ounce spinnerbait or half-ounce thunder cricket or chatterbait, whatever. Like a bigger half-ounce lure is a lot more forgiving, because what Randy's talking about is if I'm going to cast and I kind of throw the cast here and stop. This is so hard to explain, but if I throw it here and throw that lure where it kind of kicks, where I get just a little bit of slack and it kicks, you'll get a backlash right away. So one thing I do with weightless plastics is instead of maybe going like a foot, I'll go just a little bit longer with my line, and I'll kind of wind up and lob it more. So I'm not going to do as whippy of a cast with a lighter weight plastic. I'll kind of lob it. Like I said, I don't know
It's
how well
almost
that comes
it's
through
almost
in
like if anybody has the
explanation, but
experience of fishing with a like a fly fishing rod, that more of a kind of fluid motion, I guess, is important for me, at least when I'm fishing a weightless anything on a bait caster.
yeah, yep, yeah, real good point there. Let's see. We're knocking out the questions tonight. Let me know in the comments,
Right.
Randy. I know you're up to date with comments. I am at 8:21, so I'm behind 16 minutes. But dude, this is fun. I love going through this stuff, just talking fishing. I know I say it every week, but I never dread a live. Like, let's just hang out and talk fishing. It's like me and all my buddies having a dad pop and talk about fishing.
Oh
So
God.
that's one
Oh,
thing.
there's. Go ahead.
Oh, I was just going to say, Michael, I agree. The sound of the DC is crazy. LOL. I think it's the only reel that makes the buzz. There's a lot of people that get DC reels just for the buzz. And after using a DC, like, it kind of annoys me. It's got to the point where, like, I don't even want to hear it. I don't know. It's kind of weird, I guess. But
I don't even really necessarily notice it too much anymore when I'm throwing it. It's just a different. I guess I'm more focused in on the actual casting and stuff like that versus the sound. When I first got mine,
yeah,
I was really kind of and I always make the transformer joke of whatever, but
your robot reel.
yeah.
Yeah, Nick. So yeah, we just talked about that. Do you think it's the medium spinning rod is different blank from a medium? Yeah, definitely softer. You're always going to find a spinning rod of equal, I guess, statistics to or what specifications, I guess, would be the word, to a casting rod. They're always going to be a little bit softer.
I
Oh
did
wow,
see a
Philip
question.
gave away my only spinning combo. You're crazy, brother.
Wow. What time was that?
8:23.
Okay, so 8:35, just a little bit ahead of you, for zero DOHC. Question of worst backlash you ever had, and how did it happen?
Oh, I know Randy's worst backlash. Randy's worst backlash was sticking a crankbait into my calf, and backlashing is real.
It was in your hamstring, not your calf, buddy. Come on
Oh
now.
yeah, it was in my crotch. Yeah, it was just below it was just below the strawberries,
Oh,
luckily in the calf or
jeez.
in the thigh. I don't think it was that high. I might exaggerate a little bit, but
Yeah,
I
it
was
was. You
scared
were
for my life
exaggerating a lot.
when I felt the pokey. Yeah, because it was in the back of my knee actually, because it was initially
It
stuck in
was
my calf and my thigh, and I pulled it out of my calf, and then I couldn't
calf,
get it out of my.
thigh, and through your shorts. So like, oh
Oh
jeez.
man.
And I got
So,
sweaty, wet hands trying to yank the hook out.
yeah, I'm like, here, dude, the braid trick will take care of it, no problem. I tied the line on. Brandon's like, okay, I'm sorry. I'm really sorry, man. I'll get it. Yanked. Oh, I'm like, what the hell are you doing? I'm
I only
sorry,
did it
my
like
hands are
3
sweaty.
times.
3 times. I'm like, dude, give me it. Get the hell out of here. I pop it once out. So
Oh
yeah, he
jeez.
says his hands were sweaty as he laughed the whole time.
I was that was the last thing I was doing was laughing, but it was funny looking back on it now. But you got your payback. I
Matthew,
personally
real
think.
quick. Oh, go ahead.
Yeah, go ahead. I
Yeah,
was
go
just
ahead.
gonna say my worst one was probably the first one I ever had. It was I had just gotten my very I don't even remember what kind of baitcaster it was. And I remember I went to pitch a jig and I dumped it off of a piling from a bridge and wasn't didn't have anything even close to being set right. Didn't have my thumb anywhere near it, and it was just I'm like, oh man.
Oh,
Uh, Actually, old Johnny was there with me, and he sat there and he picked at it for a good half hour, and I'm just sitting there like, huh, did I make a mistake buying one of these, or
I'm just gonna go use my spinning rod.
right?
My 4 foot 10 spinning rod. Um,
Ultralight,
yeah,
75
ultralight.
pound braid.
I would say I don't think I could say that I have a worst one, but one that consistently happens and still happens if you bank fish a lot. I don't care who you are. If you're old Kevin
Mhm.
Van Dam out there bank fishing a lot, is the old tree behind you that you didn't see. Like that's the worst feeling of, oh man, it's been such a good day. I've caught 10 fish. I've got and then you just look down, and it's completely
Yep,
rat nested, and you look behind you, and there's that one little tree, one little branch that you didn't see. It's like the
one little
worst,
twig.
yeah, worst feeling in
It
your gut.
I would say it's either that or you go to roll cast and you thought you were rolling just a little bit higher than you were, and you catch those weeds or those flowers or plants or whatever they are growing up on the side, and it's like right at your like right to your side of your right side or left side on your roll cast, and it just explodes and your lure's just sitting still right next to you, and you're just
Ugh.
let me go get a different rod.
Mm. Uh, Cantor family, are the ugly stick bait casters any good? I honestly didn't know they made bait casters. I know they make rods, good budget rods, indestructible budget rods, but I didn't know they made. Did you? Do you know they made bait
Did
casters? Do they have them?
I know they do they? I know they make bait casting rods, I think.
Yeah, that's what I was just
Um,
saying. I know they make the rods. But funny thing about Ugly Stick, uh, Matt Robertson's sponsored by Ugly Stick. And when I was going down to my grandpa's, gosh, that's maybe been a month ago, I saw the Ugly Stick truck and boat all wrapped going down the highway. And I messaged
hmm.
him and said, dude, actually, I put it on my story and said, actually, I think I just saw Matt Robertson by Mount Pleasant, Iowa. Was that you in the Ugly Stick rig? And he messaged me back and said, yep, sure was, man. So that's pretty cool.
Well, I'll be darned. They do have. It looks like a Ugly Stick GX2 bait caster, the Elite bait caster. These are all combos. I don't know if these are new. It looks like the oldest I'm seeing is like 2019.
Yeah, I have not used. I couldn't tell you. But I have looked at those new. Was that last year? Actually, let's just jump over and look. I'll share quick because somebody asked me about that the other day. The Ugly Stick bass rods. Because I know what is it? The ugly. Excuse me. The Ugly Stick. What was the popular one? The GX. Whatever. You know, the
Was it the
indestructible.
GX5 or whatever? I think GX2
I don't
maybe.
remember. Yeah, I don't remember. Indestructible rod. You know, they're not the most sensitive. You know, they're kind of a budget
Sure.
deal. But, you know, if you're just getting into fishing or, you know, if you've got a younger kid or, you know, if that's all you can afford on your budget, dude, get out there and throw whatever. But
Hmm.
um I know they came out with some like other bass rods that look kind of interesting. I think they were like black and red. I was gonna look at here real quick. Let's jump over to the warehouse.
Come on, here we go.
So, have you all used them? Have you? I think they're fairly new, if I remember right. Maybe last year, or the year before they came out. I am sharing, right? Okay.
Yeah.
So, ugly stick.
Yeah, so these are like, there's a ugly stick carbon baitcaster combo at
Oh, I didn't realize they
129.
were. Yeah, they're only $80 too. I don't know. I mean, I'd be down to try one. The thing is all you, what are they? Probably a 24-ton blank.
I'm looking that up right
Yep,
now.
24-ton blank. So that's pretty normal for a rod in that. This is what I wanted to see. Is so they are stainless steel guides. So can we see a picture of the guys? Do they have any inserts?
Okay.
Maybe I said here. Doesn't say, so I don't know if they have like
What rod is that you're looking at right now?
the ugly stick carbon casting rod. It looks
Okay, yeah,
cool. I love the
same.
black and red.
The Yeah, the combo here. Hmm.
Hmm. I don't know what the actual insert is on the line guides, but yeah, it looks cool. I like the texturing. What do they call it? The ugly tough. Oh no, whoops. Ugly. Well, they have here ugly tough one-piece stainless steel guides. Fuji soft touch real seats. Yeah, I like the kind of texturing they have on it. Those are kind of cool. I like that this is flat, so hopefully that doesn't rub your finger. I can't tell there if there's enough of a gap that it would. Yeah, they look cool. I don't know. Have anybody used one? Oh, that's kind of interesting. Look at the hook keeper too. So it's on the
Where?
bottom,
Oh,
closer to the reel nut. Usually, I feel like they're
yeah.
on top, up out farther. So for anybody that if you're picking out a backlash or if you're flipping and pitching, you're one of those people that say you hate the hook keeper up on top. That
Hmm.
should stop that there. That's kind of interesting. You don't see a lot of
The
people
only the
or
only issue I could
companies
see
doing
with
that.
that is how close it is to that reel nut. I mean, you could be
If your
handcuffing yourself
finger
with
is
how big
under
of
it,
a yeah, you could
yeah.
be handcuffing yourself with that and the size of reel that you'd be able to fit in there with how much you could get the opening set or whatever.
Oh, I would think it would clear that. I would hope, and that probably goes over that actually, because that's just a screw thread right here. So if you undo it, this real nut will come all the way off. I bet it just slides over that anyway. But
Right.
yeah, you might have part of it kind of enclosed. I don't know. Hmm. Yeah, I have not used them, but I have had people ask me about the ugly stick rods. Look cool. Never used one. Let's see. What are we at for questions? Man, I am behind. 8:28. I'm 20 minutes behind. How?
Oh,
How does this
geez.
happen?
Because it just keeps going
Caro's in the
sometimes.
house. What's
Sometimes it
up,
doesn't.
Caro? What did I miss? Evening all. Not much. We're just talking about spinning reels and bait casters and things and stuff.
God, they've been going crazy comments here.
I know it's awesome. I love it. I love the
Yeah.
questions, the thoughts.
You said you were at 828, yeah?
Yeah, I'm 834 now. I'm kind of scrolling through round versus low. Yeah, so the thing, Matt, for like the round bait casters is number one is line capacity. A lot of the big swim bait guys like to use those. A lot of those round reels, I don't know. I haven't used a lot of the newer ones, but some of those old round reels, man, you can launch a bait. So I know castability on some of those is a thing, but I think the big deal is line capacity versus feel in hand to me. Like if you just love a small bait caster, you don't need a ton of line, like a regular 100 or 150 size bait caster. It's hard to beat that kind of feel in hand that you can just absolutely lock it in, and
So
bigger
one
game
thing I
too.
don't
Yep, bigger line.
one question I do have for you, Debo, is I know it's not an uncommon thing for you to use like a two-piece spinning rod. First of all, do they make a two-piece Baitcaster?
Yeah. Yep.
And
They do.
do they?
Yeah. Yep. There's companies that make them.
Do you
Not as
use
common,
a,
but
a two-piece much at all, if
I
ever?
don't use two pieces ever. I personally hate a two piece. It's just one more thing to go wrong. I hate the connection thing. As a kid, I'd be, fishing and everything was going great. And I'd get to that one good spot and I'd cast and
Yep.
the top half of my spinning rod would come off and I'd blow up the spot. And, um,
Or it gets
I,
twisted, something.
yeah. To me, it's just one more thing to go wrong. Sensitivity. I'm sure now, with a lot of the blanks and stuff that, I mean, you could feel a definite difference back when I used to use them in a two piece to a one piece, like
Sure.
just that seamless feel. But like I said, I haven't used them for a long time. I don't like them. But if you have like a car or something where you need to, break that reel down or break the rod down
Right.
to be able to fit it in your vehicle, it makes sense, like a travel deal.
Hmm.
But
Yeah, I know. I picked up a two-piece just for that specific reason. That it's like, oh, I wanted to go fish, but there wasn't any room. I have a two-door car, and it's just like, well, the option is don't fish or get a two-piece real quick. So I got the two-piece, obviously. Wasn't not gonna fish. Come on now. What are we kidding?
8 pounds, yeah, there's multiple people saying 8 pounds for Cincos. I don't go 8 pound on a bait caster for stick baits. I even honestly hate going 8 pound for crankbaits. I know if you want to get them down there, use 8 pound, but as a bank angler, it's just, man, you get on that one little piece of brush, and if you need to try to horse it out at all,
Mm-hmm.
I always err on the side, and that's, I'm not going to say it's a good thing or that everybody should do it, but I usually err on the side of my line's a little bit too heavy, probably than I should be using, but again, it's a different deal if you're out in a boat and you can play that fish in open water, coming at you versus trying to get it through everything. We doing a giveaway tonight. Well, if we are, you're obviously excluded, Joshua. Joshua the hacker who always wins the giveaways. I don't know. I didn't have anything planned tonight. Like I said, it was kind of a last minute trying to get everything even just to get on live after painting and stuff. I'm behind on giveaways. I've still got my members only reel here. I am bad at giveaways, getting them out on time. So probably not unless something comes up where I need to do a giveaway here where I feel bad, or we get if we get 300 people in here, I'll do a giveaway. Boom. We're an hour in. If I see 300 click up
253.
there, 253, I'll do a giveaway. Otherwise, probably not tonight. I am going to start doing them more again, though. I want to get caught up. Life has been past crazy. I haven't even listed lures. I haven't sold a lure since December. Haven't
You
sold a
should do that.
single lure this year. I really should. Stuff has just been bat poop crazy. So GC, what's BFS stand for? It's bait finesse system. So Baitcaster's meant for light, ultralight, finesse type lures. Hey, Stacy's in here. What's up, Stacy? Stacy has a good YouTube channel out there in California. I follow her on Instagram. She's an OG follower.
I'm just looking through
Jermaine,
here.
DC
I'm up
giveaway.
to.
Actually, Jim and I were talking about this the other night for my members. So my OG, true loyal fans who are crazy enough to be a member to my channel. I appreciate everybody that does. But Jim and I were talking, and if you haven't paid attention to getting the JDM stuff, the yen went down quite a bit compared to the US dollar. So if you're looking at stuff overseas, there's a couple places where I've got stuff from. I've actually got a couple JDM dealers. Chaunch, G-Fans sent me some stuff. I was actually looking on site the other day. I had a subscriber send me an Antares DC. And he said, dude, I got it dirt cheap. I found a deal on it. It's like a $600 reel. So that'll be coming up in a video. Blew my mind, but we got talking about it. He said, don't tell people. I don't want to go into all that. He said, it's for the years of me watching you, and I found a way to get them cheap. So I'm not mad at that. But I started going on and looking, like, for example, Metaniums, which are like 400 and I don't know, 420. I guess I'm sharing here. Let's look real quick. Let's see what Tackle Warehouse shows a Metanium as right now. I was talking to Jim Tackle Junkie because every time we joke about we get on each other's lives. Oh, are you giving a Metanium away? Are you doing this?
When's the Metanium giveaway?
Yeah, when's the Metanium giveaway? Is Jim doing that for this? Or so we got talking, and I was looking at Metaniums and overseas a JDM Metanium. Wow. So Tack Warehouse has them for $440 right now. I can get a Metanium JDM 2020, which is this, the MGL, for $230 right now. $200 less than what Tackle Warehouse has. So it's like it's kind of limited stock. I think it's been getting picked over quite a bit. There's been some people posting stuff about it, but if you shop JDM and you have a reliable spot, that's the other thing is I personally don't get into it because I don't know where it's coming from and like all that stuff. And if you run into a problem, it's not like me just picking up the phone and calling Tackle Warehouse and saying, hey, this order's wrong. Like, how do you figure out the overseas stuff? And so that's why I've never got into it. But one of my dealers, one of my subscribe Fish Friend dealers said, if you need anything, let me know. So I think, anyway, what I was getting to with all that is I think for my 100 member giveaway, I need to check and see where we're at on members. But once I hit 100 members, I'm going to do a member only live and give away a Metanium.
Dang.
Finally comes to a head that we've got to give the Metanium away. So Jim and I were talking about that and laughing. He's like, dude, I'm going to have to look into getting some stuff. So
Metanium, so I was just looking up different lures and stuff like that just now, and I pulled up a new tab, and I don't know what kind of whatever is on this computer, but it's like a headline just popped up of Florida woman eaten alive by alligators after falling in pond.
Yikes.
So definitely had to, yeah. South Carolina man. And then, oh my God, I got to click out of this because I don't even want to go near water anymore now. I'm like, you're in the middle of Iowa, but okay, and?
But there's alligators. People let their alligators loose in a random
Tiger
pond.
Sharks are everywhere.
Let's see. What else do we have for questions? I'm still kind of scrolling through here quick. We're up to 263 people now. Are we going to hit 300? Am I going to have to do an impromptu giveaway? Maybe I'll pick some fun random stuff and do a giveaway if we click 300.
Debo, how many rods have you broken on the tree behind you casting? Just a question.
I don't know that I've ever broke one that way, to be honest. Maybe one.
I thought there was. Oh no, you stepped on one as you were
and casted it and it busted.
Yeah.
Yeah. Matt says, let's talk reels, spin cast, casting, bait. Are we getting off subject, Matt? I'm sorry. If you have questions, Matt, let me know. I'm sorry if we get a little sidetracked.
Oh. It happens from time to time, I think. Maybe. Who knows?
Ugly Stick does make Baitcasters. I've never seen those, Daniel.
Somebody just said that the Ugly Stick has... Where'd that go? That it has wind grips. The newest Ugly Stick has wind grips. Oh, that one you were looking at, were those wind grips on there?
GX2, yeah, that's what I was thinking of, the GX2 combo.
Yeah.
You should have challenged Matt Robertson to a wrestling match. Was he a wrestler? I don't know. I don't know much about on-him fishing. So that's the thing. So I get asked that question from people. They're like, if you could go fish with like one pro, who would it be and why? And I'm not like, I don't know every single pro on tour. Like I watch some of the pro stuff. Like if it's on, like if I'm working on a spreadsheet stuff, some of my work doesn't allow me to like watch videos and like kind of like veg out while I'm doing stuff. Cause I have to be like
paying attention or whatever.
Yeah. In the grass on it. But like, if I'm just going through a spreadsheet or something, I will throw up like a fishing video or like if the lives are going on and watch that, while I'm working. So I don't know like all the guys really, but like somebody like Robertson, somebody who has like I always say this. So somebody like Robertson, Hackney, I actually think Johnny Cox, the more I see of Johnny Cox, I think he might be the dude. Or like Swindle, somebody who's like funny and we can have a good time, but also like who I can learn from. Like a lot of the guys I feel like are pretty straight laced. Like KVD, don't get me wrong, I think he would be a cool dude to talk to and hang out with, but I feel
Just
like he'd be
knowledge base
business.
anyway.
Yeah,
Yeah.
like I feel like I could learn light years of stuff, but I feel like it would
Mm-hmm.
be, listen, we're here to
No
fish.
goofers. You
Like,
sit down back there. It
I
isn't
don't
your
know
turn to
that
move.
bad, but I'd crack
No,
some
but
stupid, I'd crack a stupid Debo joke, and he'd be like,
get off. Get out.
"The hell are you?
Swim back.
You say nerd?" So I don't
Swim.
know. Let's see. I'm gonna keep scrolling through comments pretty quick. I'm gonna try to see anything that's a good question. I'm at 8:46, so 14 minutes behind. What does it weigh? One piece stainless guides. Oh, so they're just one piece stainless. Okay, so no inserts. So that's not necessarily a bad thing, especially if you're using nylon line. Braid, I would watch out. Speak of the devil, and he shall appear. I didn't know he was in here. There's old Jim.
KVD showed up?
There he is. By golly, Kevin Van Dam's a fan of DEBO'S fishing. Who knew? Jim, I was just telling the story. I don't know if he's still in here or not, but I was talking about our Metanium talk and the 100 member live giveaway.
Million members?
Fishing the Southeast in here.
Oh,
Man,
100
fishing
members.
the Southeast. What now?
I was half listening there when you said members and Metaniums and what have you. Shut up.
Now they can give away the Metanium that TJ's here. Mike got it. That's why I'm doing it. That's why I'm doing the giveaway.
Debo, a good question here, unless you have one.
Nope, go ahead.
Cooler at 9 o'clock just asked you, have you had, I know the answer to this. Well, kind of. Have you ever had someone yell at you for fishing? And my thoughts on that is not necessarily yell at you just for fishing, but give you like a hard time for, hey, you crossed me. Why are you here? Who's this guy with his face mask? Blah, 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 this and that. And, just stupid stuff like that.
Yeah, I've only got a couple stories of that. Like the worst one where somebody like actually yelled at me or I kind of got into it was with the drunk dude when we were ice fishing.
Oh, yeah.
Me, you, and Dad. That dude
I
was
may have fallen asleep at that point in time. It was really early when we got there.
Yeah, Randy was sleeping in his hut while some dude was said he was gonna try to take my life. Dude was a piece of crap.
Yep.
I had a guy who got mad at me. Actually, it was there was like 4 of them. It was 2 couples, and I was fishing on a point, a jetty, and had been there for like, I don't know, 30 minutes fishing. And they just got there, walked up, and were pissed that I was there because I think like that was their plan to meet there. And they ended up going down the shoreline in their lawn chairs, threw out their lines. And one dude, you could tell they were enjoying the adult pops. And one dude with no shirt on, a bunch of tats, man. He was, you could tell he was angry, and because I had like my buff on and like my my long sun shirt and stuff, and he's down there talking, and I see him pointing at me. I'm like, what the hell, man? And he ends up saying, I don't remember how he worded it, but essentially, this stupid Jesse James looking fool over here taking my spot or something like that. I don't know what the hell does he think he's doing? I'm like, Jesse James. I had to think about it.
The
for a minute.
ongoing question is which Jesse James are you talking about?
That's
the horseback riding outlaw or the motorcycle building outlaw?
Yeah, West Coast Customs. That's exactly what went through my head after I thought of it. I'm like, Jesse, I'm like, oh yeah, because I got my buff on, I look like I'm wearing that. Yeah, then I was thinking, is he saying I'm a BA looking outlaw, or I'm some BA looking biker dude? Either way, it's a win-win, man. Hey, thanks for the compliment.
Yeah, it's like, if you angrily yelling compliments at me, what is going on here?
I appreciate you too.
Thank you for the nice words. Anyway,
Michael said, I want a Debo giveaway. It's worth the wait. Dude, my mom. So I said my mom and dad were up here. Mom's like, I wish we lived closer. And my mom's not as like mobile and stuff as she used to be. She's like, man, if I lived up here closer, I would help you do all that stuff and help you with your lure. Cause I was talking about She's like, have you been selling a lot of lures lately? I'm like, well, actually, I haven't sold a lure since December. She's like, what the hell are you doing? She's like, get off your butt. I'm like, I know, I need to get my crap together. She's like, man, I wish I was closer. I could help you package stuff up. And yeah, I need to get a way to get all that stuff like easy, because I'm not the best at timely giveaways.
God, I was just thinking, it just randomly popped in my head about the question that you just answered there. I think I've yelled at more people during fishing excursions than people have yelled at me. Like there were two young individuals that were causing a ruckus. God, those kids. Go get your dad. Bring him over here. Let me talk to him for a second.
Let me talk to your dad. What the hell's going on here?
Freaking just chucking huge rocks into everywhere on the jetty we're fishing on, leaving all of their lures, just all the tackle boxes, 3 rods just all over the place. It's like, you're not at home, dude. Get out of here.
Gramps, I can't believe you've said such a thing. So I kind of agree with Gramps, kind of not. So he said Bantam and Metanium are overrated. He next says that testing them both, not impressed. And then says Zillion better, and I'd probably get a Pro TI over them. So Jim and I have talked about this. Gramps, I'll have to pick your brain on this. We'll have to have a side conversation. But the Metanium for me, so I would say the Metanium is definitely smoother. I think Shimano has fit and finish, smoothness. I think they've got that locked down. And if I could only have one baitcaster forever, it'd be the Zillion. But I think the Metanium and Bantam are both smoother. However, as a reel overall being used, I'll take the Zillion. Now, with that being said, testing out the Bantam, that might be one of the cleanest feeling reels in hand I think I've used. So we need to, Gramps will have to set up a live and talk about this and that, because that's an interesting take. And again, that's why it's cool that fishing is different for everyone. Everybody's got a different feel. Well, take, for example, Daiwas. A lot of people don't like Daiwa because they're a little bit longer baitcaster and a little bit longer in the front. So if you look at this compared to this reel that we're giving away tonight, this is an old reel that I found laying here on the floor. I'm kidding. This is Randy's reel still. But you can see the difference there. Now, this is a bigger baitcaster too. This is a 200 size. And this is a Lew's, the custom, the old version of it. So it's like 100, 150-ish size, kind of that deal. So you can see there's definitely a size difference. And I actually like this kind of like larger feel for some things, whereas some people hate it. It has to feel good in hand. And a lot of people are just used to the smaller, low profile baitcasters. I'm taking care of this for you, Randy. Don't worry. I won't give it away. I'm
Thanks,
just
buddy.
kidding.
I honestly, I think, and correct me if I'm wrong, but I feel like the Corrado is a little bit bigger of a reel compared to what I've been kind of trending towards in the past. And God, with that speed spool handle on there, I feel like it just adds a little bit more beefiness to it. And I kind of am, a little bit more down with that. But yeah, I
With
can't really
the
speak
handle,
to
the bigger handle.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yep.
I can't speak to the other stuff that like you were talking.
Chasing Gorditas, Zillion has the clicker drag. Yep. Yeah, it's got the click and drag, which I could care less about that. But yeah, I know a lot of people like that. Yeah, I never notice it. Just flat cast better. Yeah, I agree. And I think so. When you talk about Shimano, I don't know that I don't have a Shimano over here. Actually, I do. Funny enough that we're talking about this. This is not what I'm giving away. This is my old beat up Metanium that I actually haven't put a crazy ton of time in, but enough with. One thing that I think of using a Shimano versus a Daiwa, the MagForce brakes are, really any of the, I know they've got like a tier 2 now it's like a 2-stage, I forget what they call it. But the Daiwa brakes and casting, I'll take any day over a Shimano. That's just me. Don't get mad at me. That's just how I like to cast. I think they're better overall. Now, again, fit and finish and feel, I think Shimano wins that, even over Daiwa. And if I had to choose one, I think I'm probably more of a kind of a Daiwa fanboy. But either one, you can't go wrong with either one. They both make awesome reels. It really just comes down to certain things. And there's certain reels that I like better, like the Shimano MGL 150, the Corrado. Man, that's up there for one of my best kind of overall small in hand, casts well, comfortable, really smooth. So just kind of depends. I don't know. I'm a gear nerd, so
Yeah, you could have just said like left it at nerd, and that's about good enough, I think.
I'm a nerd. Matt, is there still room for a spin cast reel? Yeah, they've got somebody put out a spin cast reel that's like it's that magnesium one. Remember we were looking at on Tack Warehouse? It's like $130. Was it Quantum? I want to say it was Quantum, maybe. Let's look.
Hey, have you while you're looking that up, have you heard anything about the
Oops.
is it the Abu Zion? Or did
Xenon?
that thing just Xenon? Did that just kind of like fall off the face of the earth?
No, they released them, and I know they've got the rod line, the spinning reel is out. I think the Baitcasters are just now starting to trickle in. We can look on here. Somebody had them. It might have been Omnia, if people are looking. I know they're starting to trickle out, but I haven't heard. I guess I don't know anybody that has one, so I can't say I haven't heard one way or another.
Yeah, I
I
mean
think
those things are
Punch,
ridiculous.
yeah, they're expensive. I think Punch Fishing had the Xenon spin cast. He wasn't super impressed with it, and it's pretty hefty price tag on it.
What's it like
I like the.
6?
I don't even know. We could look here real quick. Am I even sharing? Oh, I'm not sharing.
No, you're not.
I was gonna look. It's not Quantum. I forget who has the. Is it Zebco? There's no way it's really actually a Zebco magnesium, is it? Oh, there's not even Zebco on here. I don't know. We were looking one day. Remember, there was like that magnesium spin cast reel. It was like 100 and something
Mm-hmm.
bucks.
By somebody that wasn't you wouldn't have expected it from, wasn't it?
I don't know.
I'm
I don't
trying to
remember.
look, I'm
Somebody
trying to
probably
look here
say it in
too.
comments. I'm way behind. 8:59, so I'm catching up.
Um,
Let's see, Matt. Is there still? Oh, that's what I've got here. Oh, here's a good one for Mr. Randall Pink Floyd. Best reel you've owned versus the worst reel. Okay, actually, see, this isn't really fair because it was an old Daiwa. I remember the first. Well, it wasn't the first Daiwa that I got, but I got a Daiwa Baitcaster that like the drag never worked right on it, and it was like I would say like my second
Crazy. Hmm.
Daiwa. Shut up, Randy.
My worst is going to be that Daiwa that I threw into
That
the
Daiwa spinning
weeds.
reel.
Yeah, that you went and picked up. I don't even know what it is. I saw a couple people in there, like a couple people in comments talking about. Have you ever heard of the Zebco Bullet MG?
That's it. That's the
This
one. Zebco
is it.
Bullet MG. Yeah, it's a
That's a
magnesium.
spin. It's a spin casting reel,
Yeah, that's what I was
and
looking
this
for.
thing.
Yeah.
It's like $140. This thing
Yeah,
is
that's what I was saying. Yeah, that's the one
ridiculous.
we were talking about that night. Yeah. Oh, interesting. Quite a few people in here talking about. So I'm back when we were talking about who would you like to fish with. A few people talking about Clay the Carpenter Guida. 2 for him, 3 for him. Edwin Evers. Yeah, Evers seems like he'd be fun too.
I feel like I just want to fish with G-Man. Like I feel like, or oh God, who was it?
Randall Pink Floyd had to go there.
What did he
Had to
say?
go there. He said, "Does Johnny Cox make Cox juice?" Yes, that is a thing. People, so we talk about it every time, and people are like, "Whoa, easy!" Like this is supposed to be a family show. It is a family show.
Where are you
You
at
go to the
time,
brand.
Debo? You got a couple of
9 o'clock.
donations coming up pretty quick.
Here it is. Cox juice. Oh, did they get rid of it? It must not be on there anymore. I wonder if we sold it out. Holy smokes! Fish can't resist. I don't even like reading it. It's so wrong. It's not available anymore, so we're just not even going to talk about that stuff anymore. The
On
attractant of which we do not speak.
those on your what is it? Your trench hog or whatever, as Gramps would say.
Oh, yeah. So Alabama, that's Bill Dance, Hank Parker. Those guys are like a given. Those are a given to fish with one day. I know I've told the story a bunch of times on lives, but the first time I met Bill Dance was like 2016 or 17, the Bassmaster Classic. when I was there.
Oh, fish.
First one, only one I've ever been to. Finally got to meet Bill Dance. He was over at like I think the Yamamoto booth or somewhere over there, and I was trying to get to him in line, and the line ended. I was waiting there for like 30 minutes. I'm like, gosh, dang it, I can't believe it. So I ended up not being able to meet him, and I was walking out. I was just in the hall walking out, and he was getting ready to hop on the escalator. And I'm like, oh God, I'm gonna be
Is
that
this
guy.
like
I'm like, I have
a
to be
Mean
that
Joe
guy.
Green Coca-Cola commercial back in the day, where it's like,
I'm like,
"Here,
dude,
kid," and he tosses you a jersey or something, and you're like, "Thanks,
no,
Mean Joe Green."
I wish. Oh, but it was me and my buddies, the guys looking for fish, Zach and Andrew. I don't remember if both of them were there with me. It might have just been Andrew. I can't remember, or maybe it was just me and Zach. Anyway, we're walking up. I'm like, Mr. Dance. I'm like, is there any way I could get a picture with you real quick? He's like, oh yeah, yeah, come on over. I was like, oh my gosh, he looks like he's tired because I'm sure he's been doing all day, and I just felt like a prick. I'm like, oh gosh, I'm that guy. I'm like, I'm never gonna get to meet Bill Dance again, so screw it, I'm doing it. And he comes out, puts his arm around me. I'm like, oh man, this is awesome. This is awesome. And he's like, oh, get in here. He's like, oh, your zipper's down though. I'm like, oh crap. And I go to check it and it's not down. I'm like, I look up and he's like, oh, gotcha. I'm like, oh my gosh. I just got schooled
Jeez.
by B to the D. He got me with the old, your zipper's down. It was
God,
pretty
that's
funny.
amazing.
Cool dude. He's like, yeah, no problem, man. He's like, have a good day. I'm like, you made my day, dude.
Hey, real quick, of people I want to fish with, I think it'd be
Yeah.
fun to fish with Zona.
He's another one. Yeah, and again, I don't know if he would be like down to earth or some of these guys I feel like they're just so good and so well known that it's like, would you have a good time? I don't know. I don't know any of them personally. So
Yeah, like I feel like just with the shows and stuff that I've seen with him on there, he's usually one to like kind of like it's that real close line. And again, I don't know the dude just like you don't, but it's like a real close line of he could just be super awesome, super fun, or it could be super awesome, super fun until something just doesn't go right. Maybe I have no idea, but and I would also have to say Ike and Ellie too, just because from back in the day, I was a huge Ike and Ellie fan, just for
he got a lot of people into it. Yep.
like the don't give up kind of attitude, the keep going to the very end type of mentality. I thought that was super awesome of him.
Paul Brown Jr. with the 99 cents. Thank you, my friend. I'll give you a cheers to that. Hopefully I haven't missed anybody yet.
Nope, you're good. You're on track.
Okay. Nick said, teach the kids how to print shipping labels. Shipping labels actually the easy part. It's trying to find the stuff, get everything ready, and going to the frickin' post office, which I absolutely despise. But if it's on the website, it's a bunch easier because, like, when I'm selling baits, I print out the shipping label, everything's done, I put it on there, and I can just do it in the drop-off bin. Giveaways are always such a pain in the butt because I have to wait in line, and it never fails. There's always that one person in line whenever I go to the post office that's like, yeah, I was supposed to be getting this from like somewhere in freaking Narnia
Can I
and I
pay
can't
in
find it.
pennies?
Yeah, and I'm like, oh my gosh, nobody knows where your package is at. Just leave. I need to mail these. Mike, I have not forgotten. I just haven't got to fish with Randy. I did fish with Randy once when I had him. But Mike, there is going to be a surprise for Randy with a shut up Randy. Randy, you're not even going to see it coming when it gets you.
You want to probably make sure that your GoPro is like fully waterproofed, though. Just saying.
Oh,
Your
it won't be
phone
anything like
maybe.
that. Nah, you won't even know. It'll be after you like get home a couple days later, then you'll notice what the shut up Randy's about. Pike and
Oh,
Tackle said hashtag no fairy wands. Somebody else up there said White Whale said spinning rod. Hashtag spinning rod is not a fairy wand. The funny things that come out of the whippy stick, fairy wands, all kinds of names.
oh, Nick Rodriguez, two pet peeves: shore trash and inconsiderate boats. That's
Nailed it.
man, that one video that you had when I was trying to off that jetty right there by the launch. And granted, it was right by the launch, but that old man was like, "Oh, you're trying to catch a whale with that lure?" I was like, "No, I'm trying to catch the fish down here, but it looked like it swam away. Something must have scared it."
Dude, actually,
He's
just
like, "Maybe that lure."
I was going through watching old footage, and that one popped up where he's like, "Oh, you on a fish there?" And you're like, "Well, I was. Something scared it off. Oh,
Maybe
probably
like a
that big old
boat.
lure."
Yeah.
Oh man, I was cracking up. I've got to do another bloopers. That was 2020. I didn't do a 2021 blooper reel at the end of the year.
I
Uh,
think I've asked you before, and everybody plug your ears real quick. Was there any good footage of me yelling at those kids? I thought there was.
I
Maybe?
didn't
No?
have it. No, I didn't have it. No.
That's too bad.
Oh, get off my lawn. Randy was upset that kids encroached on his bubble.
No, because they kept chucking. Oh.
Randy,
And I
they're
asked them
kids.
nicely twice to
Teach them.
stop doing it.
Learn them the ways of the dizzle.
I'm going to learn to kick them in next time. Where's your dad at? Bring him on over.
Oh gosh. So Pike and Tackle, thank you, my friend, for the donation. I appreciate it a lot. John says, I'm with Gramps taking the Pro TI. I haven't got to use one. Gramps, send me your Pro TI so I can try it out.
God, the Zipco
Agent.
bullet. The thing just looks. Have you seen like a real live picture of the thing? It's like
I have. Yeah, it's interesting. Agent says, "Hey Debo, do you know if you'll make a Zillion review? I've been thinking about picking up one. I am actually. I posted a what the hell do you call it?
review video,
No,
Instagram
no, it was on my community tab. Where you pick the
poll.
multiple choice thing. Survey. Yeah, poll. I did a poll on YouTube, and the Zillion won by quite a bit. So I was surprised that many people were interested in it. It's my favorite baitcaster right now. So yes, I will be doing one, and I have plans to be doing a lot more gear reviews because I've got a ton to catch up on, and I'm hoping to get some of the new iCast stuff. So hopefully do some new reviews of that, and I've got to get my butt in gear. I didn't even have. Did anybody even notice? I didn't even get a comment about it yet. I didn't even have a video last week. Didn't even put out a video. With work stuff and getting done and like the kids stuff, I was just beat. And at the end of the day, I'm like, I don't even feel like doing anything. I just want to go to bed. No video. So I've actually got Monday's video done. Went fishing today. Finally got the John boat out. That'll be Tuesday's video. I'm going to try to do a video every day next week. So anybody watching, it's going to be a 5-video week to catch up and make y'all
Holy
happy.
cow.
Maybe. It'll probably end up being like 3 videos, but we'll see. Ooh, Bruce. Yeah. He said I had a Fuego. Sorry, that's my compressor. Is it that loud?
I just noticed it sounded like applause and like cheering for a second. I was like, what button did you push there? That was awesome.
Film before a live studio audience. Oh, Bruce. Yeah. So a lot of people say that. So he said I had a Fuego and a Tattooeless CT for 2 hours and traded them. Felt like a cinder block in hand. Yeah. A lot of people say they feel too big in hand. So I get it. And I do understand what they're where they're coming from on that. But yeah, love. He said Cooler said he's stuck on the Lew's feel in hand. Yeah. And Lew's really, I feel like, broke open that low profile baitcaster market, especially like at the more budget prices, like at $99, the LFS, nobody really had anything like that. And I think that was like, gosh, when those first LFSs came out, was that, because I didn't even have one of the first ones, but I know when they kind of broke in on the scene.
I feel like,
what's Rich saying here? Rich just texted me.
I feel like my big thing with Lew's is more of, and it could be totally out of wrong speaking or however you want to say that statement, but it could be more of the handle, the grips is what kind of makes me steer towards Lew's and enjoy those reels. But at the same time, it's
these handles right here. Love them. Love the larger handles. I love a big knob. Liza said it earlier. Love a big knob. I can't help it. Mr. Randall Pink Floyd said, love the Zillion. I can't wait. Mr. Randall Pink Floyd, and I don't know why I have to call you Mr. Randall Pink Floyd, but it feels like the correct thing to say.
You should, yes.
Randy's still got his box. It's still here because I haven't got a fish with Randy in like 3 weeks. Randy's been avoiding
Yeah,
me.
but it's working
Uh,
on. It's probably working on closer to a month now, isn't it?
Probably, yeah, probably because you just keep avoiding me. I want to see what's in
Yeah,
that box. I can't wait to see
I'm
that. I might
dodging.
have to the next time we fish together. We might have to do an unboxing together, like on a picnic table somewhere. Because I've got multiple things for you, dude. I've got stickers. I've got a couple
Oh
boxes.
Jesus!
People sent stuff for you. Yeah, I've got your reel that you can have back.
Yeah.
You can unbox it and pretend like it's new.
It will basically be new, I think.
Chasing Gordita says, "Yep, Luz and Kratos both feel great in hand. Yep." What have you been throwing on your Crotto MGL? So the Crotto 150, I think, is a like 3/8 to half ounce moving bait, awesome reel. I mean, you could use it for jigs, you could use it for, I mean, really whatever. But to me, just I got is mine a lefty or righty? I forget which one that is. That one and kind of the MGL feel, or the Scorpion MGL feel very similar. Um, so for me, just kind of flipping and pitching around, moving bait feels really good. It's just real effortless, and that's my deal with it, though.
Is it the Scorpion? I think the Scorpion is in left because I've thrown that a couple of times, maybe,
It's
possibly.
the maroon red looking one. I don't know if you've
Yeah, I think
thrown that
that's
one. I don't
in.
know if I've.
Yeah, maybe. Who knows? Maybe.
I don't know.
Hmm.
Bootleg said, "Yep, Corrado 150 is his favorite in hand. Using the Corrado MGL 150 is my stupid tube combo. Yeah, and it would be good. So the MGL is generally meant for lighter baits. So if you've got lighter baits that you struggle with on some of your other bait casters, that MGL spool is meant for that. Those reels are meant to throw lighter lures. So maybe smaller cranks would be a good deal. Bigger shaky heads, like a quarter ounce shaky head, or like a little 3/16 Texas rig. Weight Weightless baits, I'm sure would be good on it. I haven't tried it yet, but any of the lighter things is kind of what Corrado has, that MGL spool, and like that, kind of that line of reels for, versus a, like a Corrado K with 200 size reel, kind of just a do it all regular purpose reel that honestly would throw probably half ounce lures, 3/8 ounce lures, just as well. But that's just what I've been using my MGL 150 for. So
Hmm.
GC said he throws the MGL as well on his Kistler 7.3. I do love both of those. I like my Kistler rods. Zebco has a $200 and up spin cast reel. Holy crap. Loose Hypermag is amazing as well. Yeah, I will. I was actually just messing with that. Grant, do I have that out? I do.
Oh, geez. Oh, let's wait for the chair.
Oh,
Wait for the
geez.
chair. Oh, it didn't spin all the way.
Another good feeling
Oh,
reel in
what's that? Oh,
hand.
hey, welcome back.
Light,
Oh,
small.
that's a nice looking handle, though. I really, I've started
It's a great
I
reel.
put that the speed spool handle on my reel. Like I can really tell how much more of a difference there is for I don't know how you describe it, like a longer or like a wider grip on your handles. The shorter, closer grips for me are. I feel like I fumble with them a little bit too much, but with the
Are
bigger
you
grips
are you talking about
or
the knob itself, this, or are you
yeah,
talking about the handle?
the distance between the two knobs.
Oh, yeah. Yep.
I feel like the more distance between them, the easier it is to get a good purchase on there, and you know
I completely
without
agree. Yeah,
even
I hate the
looking.
ones that are like, because that's one thing you see now, and a lot of them is like, and on some of the Daiwas, I want to say they're like 85 millimeter, which, yeah, I completely agree with you, dude. I hate like a 95, I think should be standard. I like
Hmm.
100 millimeter, but most companies don't put those on,
And it again
stock ever.
is something that I didn't ever even think of before I tried something new. Just like the grips, I was totally fine with any other grip, and then I got
I
those
remember when I
ones.
first gave you these,
Yeah.
when I hooked you up with that first reel, I'm like, dude, have this reel. I don't remember what I gave, but anyway, you were using it. You're like, dude, these knobs, I hate them. Dude, they're just too big, and I don't like it. Now
and then I actually used it.
you're in the big knob clan, aren't you? Like a big knob,
I'm
don't you?
not going to confirm that at all. I'm not going to say that out loud. Grips. I like grips that are easy to find and get. Never mind. What's this
I
question
do
here?
like,
Somebody
yeah, and I
asked.
do like the wind grips too. That's another thing is like, the old Lures.
Oh
Speak
yeah.
of the LFS, like the flat, they're fine for casting around, but anything like where I'm setting the hook hard, I like a little bit, bigger and especially like longer portion here, but especially the wind grips or anything with a texture. That's why I was
Hmm.
sad when Daiwa. That's one thing I don't like about the Zillion. And like the Daiwa Tatula 100. I hate those silly little like small knobs that Daiwa puts on. I don't know why the hell they waste their time with those. That's the only thing I hate about the Zillion. And those, I think that's on the Zillion, right? Is that what I'm thinking of? Anyway, I know it's on the 100 for sure. I don't like the knobs, but
Where are you at on time there, Debo? For your
I'm trying to
comments,
scroll through here.
you got another
9:13.
donation.
We're at an hour 40. I was gonna say we're
I
probably a
noticed
little
that.
over an hour. Holy crap.
Yeah, I just looked up and saw that hour 40.
Whew. Okay, well, listen, we'll give it maybe another 10. We've still got 260 people in here. Y'all are crazy watching a silly old Debo and Dizzle on a Saturday night.
Normal Dizzle, silly Debo. Got it.
Oh, Randall Pink Floyd. I need to talk to
Oh,
Mr.
Larry
Dove.
Dahlberg.
I need to see if we can get Larry Dahlberg on. Mike said he said we might be able to hook that up. So we'll see if we can get old Chief to hook us up.
Like I don't think I'd be able to. I don't think I'd be able to join that. I'd just be sitting here like Larry Dahlberg. Larry
Larry
Dahlberg.
Dahlberg? Is this the real
Larry
Larry Dahlberg?
Dahlberg.
Yeah, that'd be
I would
fun to
have
pick
a.
his brain. Like you were saying, the old videos of him making the lures in his basement or his garage?
It was a
Where they
garage
both
or
all
something.
yeah.
Yeah, just melting his plastics, pouring them, the whole nine, dude. Those were awesome. I don't even remember. Was that? I don't remember what the series was called, but that was awesome. It was always like half him making the lures and then half him going out and fishing. And usually it was like, if I'm not wrong, it was like he was out in the Amazon or something crazy with those giant catfish things where it's like you need that huge explosive
Those things are
noise on the top,
crazy.
and they
Those
are.
guys, yeah, those dudes that are throwing those, you see them all the time on Instagram. And I don't know what it's like, a whale's catfish or whatever they call them, where they're throwing like a plopper underneath the branches of like those low hanging trees, and they'll like kind of be stopping it, and then like, and you'll see this big, huge mammoth whale looking of a fish, and then it's just and like
And it's
insanity
always
when it
like
grabs it.
super clear water too.
Yeah, yeah, because you see the fish come up, and man, I don't know what the hell. I don't know what the hell you do.
Yeah, Laird Albert.
If I want, let's see, I want to fish with David Dudley. He's an interesting cat. Yeah, he's the guy behind the proficiency stuff, that proficiency rod that you have. He's I
Mm-hmm.
don't know if he owns that company or if he's like his main sponsor. I don't know how all that works, but yeah,
The Hunt
he's
for Big Fish was this
the
show.
funny
Sorry.
dude. Oh,
Yeah. I feel like he's like my
let's see.
grandpa, just like telling me like how to fish and stuff when I watch that show. Whatever. I get that feel from it. And he's always got beef jerky with him too, so that's awesome.
Butch Brown, another legend. ROBB Rob, thanks for the $5 bomb, my friend. I appreciate you. And if any of you guys who donate, make sure you always leave a question or a comment or anything. I always make sure to highlight those, and I appreciate the folks who support and keep me going. Pull, yeah, so that's how far behind I am. Yeah, Butch Brown, that is a good call. Yeah.
Surprised there hasn't been
Zebco.
a sighting from old Mr. Stubbers.
No, so
Or at least
I can't get into it, but the past 3 times that I've let Mr. Stubby down with me, and this is going to be TMI for people. But the past 3 times that I've let
Oh,
Mr. Stubby
jeez.
down with me, he's been on the other side of the basement, not to be heard from, and he's either ripped something apart or done naughty things to the cushions that he shouldn't be doing as a Mr. Stubby dog. So he's no longer allowed down here, and he never does that. Like, I don't get it. He never
He's
does
just
any of that
hopped
stuff
up.
ever. Yeah, he's just all amped up, and Mr. Stubby Dog, get a hold of yourself. He's actually at the door. It's funny that you say that because I can hear
I
him at
think
the
I
door.
just
He's
heard
been
him.
down here. Yeah, he's been down here for probably 45 minutes right here at the door and like whining and like, oh, Dad, let me in. No, you
I
can't.
gotta I gotta get the zoomies out. The zoomies.
Let's see.
Mr. Stubby.
Okay, let's get a couple more questions. That we're at an hour 45. Let's take a couple more questions. I'm going to skip. I'm at 9:24. So if in the past 10, 11, 12, 15 minutes you've had a comment that you feel like I need to see, let me know now. I'm going to go back just a little bit. Welcome, Arrowhead. Arrowhead, do we get a new watcher?
God, did somebody ask a question about the old Chapo versus Plopper?
Yeah, that's the thing, Chris. That's the thing that sucks about wind knobs. And even like, that's the weird thing about a lot of the industry is when they put that stuff on, like extras and stuff, a lot of the time you're just paying for like little cosmetic things like this, where you might have 2 reels that are exactly the same. But when stuff is expensive, so you can knock on a company for saying, well, this rod's that much more than, this equal one or this, real category. Like the wind stuff is expensive. So that's the crummy part is,
It,
yeah, I know what you're saying. It's tough to spend 30 or even like the Gamexus. I freaking love the Gamexus knobs. And I had that dial here. These, I fell in love with these for frogging because I can literally be like this and not scrape my knuckles.
mm-hmm.
But at like $45 for a pair of those knobs, dude, I've only got a couple. Yeah, I know what you're saying, man, for sure.
It's funny. I just saw this comment from Mike Vogel at 9:33. He says lives with Debo and Dizzle feel like we're sitting around a campfire shooting a crap about fishing. Pretty
Dude,
soon
that's
you
the way it
realize
should be,
it's
dude.
3 a.m. and everyone's having a
Crap.
drag. That's funny.
We, we got to get up at 5 to go fishing. We better go to bed,
Yeah,
dude. Chasing
we gotta.
gorditas. My
Yeah, go
dream,
for
my
it.
dream is to be tripled up on the Iowa banks with Debo and Dizzle while Marling Bates is doing a 1-day lure build. Dude,
Dude,
we've told the marling story. Randy and I were out at a local lake, and there's this weird looking dude creeping. Like he's like I see him go by slow in his truck, and I see him pull up behind us. I'm like, what the hell is this dude doing? That's Marling. He's like, oh hey guys, can I fish with you? We're like, more like, can we fish with you?
right.
Uh,
And it was totally random too. We stopped at that lake. That was like almost a last ditch effort for the day.
yeah.
It was kind of late in the day, wasn't it? And it was super
Yeah, it
hot, and
was evening. Yeah, sun was going down. Yeah, it was. Yeah, later. So we fished the whole
we're
night.
just
Yeah,
like,
Marling's
who's
a cool
this
cat.
guy over here?
I haven't been able to get him on a live. Hopefully, when we do the lure making one, of course, Nick Rundle. So I've talked about Marling before, but when I talk about the guys at the bait cave, that's Marling and Rundle. Those guys taught me everything I know about making the soft plastics before I was even into any of this stuff, and with working with Do It or any of that type of stuff. Going over there and just watching those guys do their work. Uh, a couple really awesome. Actually, the first night I went over there, Rundle made deer burgers from him and the other Nate. I forget his last name, not Marling, but the other Nate that was over there. Um, Made deer burgers like that he had in his deep freeze. He's like, yeah, you coming over? He's like, I'll cook grilled out for me and everything. The first time they met me, first time Rundle had met me, actually, I'd got to fish with Marling before, but yeah, they're just as down to earth Iowa dudes as you can get. So cool cats. Let's see. All kinds of Stubby bombs going in here. Yeah, Stubby, he's not Mr. Mike Vogel. We're not going to be free in the Stubby. He's up to no good when
Well,
he's down here lately.
we got a this or that at 9:36 from fishing the southeast. Oh, jeez.
Let's see. Here's one from Chris. Oh, whoop. Yep. Fish in the Southeast. Okay, we're gonna start going down the line. We're gonna do some rapid fire questions and we're getting out of here. I can't believe we're almost at 2 hours. Okay, this or that. Magnet or centrifugal brakes for yourself, Debo and Dizzle. So I will say for newer anglers, I think magnetic brakes are definitely the way to go. Externally adjustable, easier to understand. Once you get into a lot of the centrifugal brakes, like that you have to open up, especially, I feel like people kind of, did I go too much? How many do I need to have
Hmm.
on? Some of the externally adjustable centrifugal brakes, it's a different deal, like this, like the Hypermag. So what I mean is, when you see this out here, and I've actually seen pros talk about this wrong, which is really funny. They're like, yeah, I've got my magnetic brakes here. You just put it on this. Like, they don't really know the gear, which not that they're supposed to, but there's like, yeah, you turn the magnets here, and a lot of people see these and they just think they're magnetic. So when you pop one of these open, with some reels that have the centrifugal brakes, that's what you're looking at, is these little arms, or these little, I don't
Hats.
know what you call them, hats on a Shimano. Yep. Little
Yeah.
arms that are controlling your brakes instead of an actual magnet. So these little arms are putting force on, if I can get it, putting force on this little brass race here and
Hmm.
slowing it down. So imagine if you're running, or that's probably not a good, I don't know. You're running and you put your hand on a wall to like help you slow down. That's what those brakes are doing.
Yeah,
What
I'm
about
probably
you, Dizzle?
gonna.
What's your take?
Magnetic are nice, but I feel like if you get into a good reel that the side plate is connected to the rest of the reel, the centrifugal are just as good, and just getting used to it, being able to dial it in, and remembering every time you change a bait to a different size, you need to make sure and go back and double check that you're good to go. Just don't assume that you can just, huck it, chuck it type of fishing.
Yeah, yeah, and that's a good point. Like on a lot of the higher end reels, you're going to find the centrifugal brakes. Like they don't usually go into the magnetic, minus Daiwa. A lot of the reels, usually you'll be able to get a little bit longer cast on the centrifugal brakes. Not always, but yeah. So it just kind of depends. It depends on your comfort level. But
Yep, 100%.
Chris, this or that, would you rather catch a 30-pound bag of largies at Lake Fork or a 25-pound bag of smallies at St. Lawrence? So for me, like it's always been this thing of Lake Fork. I don't know a ton of the amazing fisheries and stuff out there. For whatever reason, Lake Fork has like always been the place that I want to go to. I don't know why. So, and I don't
God,
have
I
like a
wanted
bucket
to,
list of fishing spots. So
for the longest time, I wanted to go to Lake El Salto, but I don't even know if that's like a relevant bass lake anymore with
I don't know. Yeah,
everything.
you don't hear, that's the one in Mexico, right?
Yeah, yeah. And like for me, is a 30-pound bag at Fork a good bag?
I mean, that's you're catching 5, 6 pounders. So I mean,
Yeah. I
Fork
mean,
definitely has way bigger than that, but
that would be amazing to catch a five
for there,
pounder. It's
that's
been like
very
3
doable.
years since I've done that, but I would
Yeah, could
probably
you imagine
go.
some of those tournaments like on the St. Lawrence now where they're cracking? Who was it? I see John Cruz posted like I want to say 24 pounds, and he missed the cut or something like that. Like stupid bags of huge fish. I
And
don't know.
we won't get into that tonight. But there's a whole lot of, is it this or is it that or is it, you know what I mean?
I hear
Oh,
Mr. Stubby Dog's not down here. See, what is that?
it is Mr. It's the it's is it the
He's got his. No, he's down there. He's playing with a toy. He was trying to shred a toy down here. He got a new stuffed toy. I just wanted to make sure he wasn't doing things he shouldn't be doing with like a pillow or stuffed toy out there.
I was gonna say, is it the never mind. This Philip Cheek, there was this or that.
Oh, thoughts on
Just
mock
blow.
baits? Yeah, so this got brought up when I was on the live with Gramps and Tom. I don't know anything about him. Somebody was asking me. I guess I thought they were made like
Ooh.
through the Kick and the Bass or whatever, because they were like all that black and green. So I thought that was like his collaboration with Luz, but I don't think so. because they said they're only available through Dick's. Honestly don't know much about them, dude. I was looking when I was on that live with him. Is that last night? Gosh, that was last night. That feels like forever ago. I don't know why. But I was looking at some. They have some really cool color schemes, a little bit more expensive, which I thought was kind of counterintuitive, because like you look at the mock line of rods and reels and they're more of like a budget friendly, and then you get into mock baits and they're all like $14 lures. So yeah, I don't know anything about them, the story behind them. I know they're exclusive to Dick's, and he said that they're going to start selling them on the website. So Gramps, I don't know if Gramps is still on. He might have booked out, but he might have more info, or anybody really that has more info on it.
Oh my God. So I'm
Matthew
just
says
looking
Debo
ahead
knows
here.
what's up. I don't know what that was too, but
I'm just looking ahead here, and we have probably another, I don't know, hour and a half worth of conversating to have with some of these comments in here, with the Philip Cheek this or that.
do we open up
comment.
some?
No,
yeah,
there's just some really good stuff in here.
Oh, treble hook in the finger, without a doubt. Treble hooks are small; they pop out way easier than like if you get a big jig hook. You're not popping that out easy with braid. Like that's a not fun deal.
I did take a jig to the shin maybe a year and a half ago. I think I took a jig to the shin, and it didn't stick, but man, that sucked. So I'm taking a treble. Take a treble in the thumb, I guess.
Yeah, I'll take a treble in the hand any day. Like the worst is I'll take a treble in the hand anywhere here. The worst is the tips. Like the itsy bitsyest tips of the ends is the absolute worst. Probably because you've got so many like nerve endings and
Receptors.
stuff there. So
it always feels like you're digging through all your bag and you always manage to catch just even like the point of a tip. It just instantly.
Kevin said he sent me a message. Kevin, I'm a bit behind on messages. I apologize, dude. Said sent you a message about my first frogfish on IG a few days ago. Any advice for warm weather frogging? Well, the big thing I would say is get out early or get out late. So like the couple hours from sunrise up, and then the couple hours from leading up to sunset are generally going to be the times when fish are more active, unless it's a day like today. We had cloud cover pretty much all day, so I was throwing a buzz frog, and I think I caught 4 fish on that. So not an amazing day on it, but more fish on that than anything else.
I would say don't pigeonhole yourself. Don't stick to one technique, one frog size. Make sure you're varying your retrieves and things like that. If you're not getting bit, try the pop pause, real long pause, different things like that. Don't get stuck. I always seem to get myself stuck in the same retrieve each and every time, and Debo outfishes me on frogs.
No, Randy's got a great point. Yeah, there's some days where I'm a big fan of like hard walking a frog. So bomb, 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 bomb. And with like a pointed nose frog, pretend this isn't a actually here's one. So with a pointed nose frog like this, as you're kicking it real hard side to side, you can get this to pop with like a pointed nose frog. As opposed to like some people, like Randy, for example, he likes to kind of, I call it chugging the frog. I'm not sure what the exact name for it is, but he likes to fish a little bit quicker, where he keeps a little bit tighter line and does the pop, 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 where the nose is just going and then stops it. A lot of people like to fish a frog like that. So yeah, try both, fish it quicker. Sometimes they just want it slow. Like sometimes they want just a real deliberate.
And again, depending on what the water's like, are you dealing with big heavy scum? Are you fishing alongside some lily pads, things like that? I found that with me, that heavy walk type of technique, I may not be walking it, but that heavy pop of getting it to walk on some like really thick scum can bring them up there too. So it's just it's all varying and dependent on the conditions, skies, clouds, the whole nine. Just try everything. Don't think one lane, think every lane.
Yep. And don't, like Randy was saying, don't pigeonhole yourself to one type of cover that you're around. So, a lot of people think, oh, I need lily pads to fish a frog. Fish them on the edge of a grass line, fish them next to laydowns, fish them next to docks, fish them like anything that where you think, I really feel like there could be a fish there. If you feel like a topwater bites on, Frog is such a good option. Oh, and I didn't realize I jumped off your comment already, Kevin. Frog is such a good option because it's weedless, so especially, I don't know if you're bank fishing or not, but as a bank angler, that's one of the few lures that you can throw in a tree and it comes out no problem. You can, throw it in the cattails and it slips through, so don't be afraid to get really close to stuff, and don't be afraid to fish around more stuff than just like, the slimy green, mucky stuff and pads, that most people think you need for a frog. So what was the one? Crack and bass. Here's a good one. Frog and reels.
Yeah, I was just gonna say that one. That's a good one.
So I'm kind of middle of the road. So I've been using the Lose, what is it, the Hyperspeed or whatever. It's a 9.5 to 1. I'm not sharing. And I don't know that I've had enough of like the thick stuff to be able to wrench it through. I don't feel like I've lost power with it yet. The reel itself feels good so far, but I definitely know what you're talking about. Like if you get in the real thick, dirty, gross stuff, that's what one kind of side of the spectrum, one side of the argument is, if you get in that really thick stuff, you're going to lose power going to a higher speed, right? You get more torque on a lower speed reel. So I haven't got to put enough time in with this, with the really, really gross stuff, but this is a 9.5 to 1. So it's a fast reel.
Crazy fast.
So I like middle of the road, like
torque guy.
Yep.
I'm a low sevens guy.
That's what I'd say too. Yeah, like a 7.1 to 7.5. Is kind of my favorite.
But then on the other hand, I usually have two frog rods with me. One's usually a little bit faster and one's usually a little bit slower.
Yep, and I kind of have a light frog rod and a heavier frog rod. So I have one with 50 pound for like my soft plastics, like those, like the Incredifrog that never misses the leg day, or like a toad, essentially like a toad type thing. And then my heavier, a little bit longer rod for bombing, because there's places that Randy and I fish where not always do I say like casting distance is that important, but especially frog fishing or topwater, where I'm on the bank and I'm trying to reach the farthest that I can get with some of this topwater, because you'll see fish blowing up from the bank. You just can't move around like you can in a boat. So Nick, what is your favorite rod you no longer have? So I wouldn't say it's my favorite rod that I no longer have. But I can tell you my favorite rod of like all time is I got a number 8 Hellbent rod, which I think was like a $60 or $70 rod. Number 8 was like the budget brand of 13 Fishing there for a while. I don't think they brought it back. I think 13 Fishing re-released like the blackout rod, which is a step above that. But I got it on a day after Thanksgiving sale at Gander. I think it was like the first 100 people or first 100 like purchases of it, or 50. I don't remember what it was. I got it for $20. And the best $20 I've ever spent. Like as far as a good do-it-all, I still got it. I can show you. Randy, what's yours? Do you have a favorite rod that you know? Oh, I already know it.
Do you?
Jig rod that you broke?
Yep, it's gonna be it was my Abu Garcia Vendetta. It was like 7.1 medium heavy, and I don't even know. I don't know what happened to it. I don't know what went wrong, but I want to say a couple of the eyes broke off, and really there wasn't an opportunity or an ability to replace or fix those eyes. It was heartbreaking. I don't know how many jigfish I caught on that thing, and I know the Vendettas came out again, and updated versions and things like that, but they've never been the same, because I've gotten a few since then, and they've just never been the same as what that original one was. And man, that thing was a workhorse. It was like that little dog that was your companion that went everywhere with you. The Vendetta, it was just there, and it was always with me,
Yeah, that was.
God, I might tear up. Thanks a lot, Devo.
I think it was like a 7 or a 7.2 medium heavy. Like it was the best all around rod I think I've ever owned. for $20.
Mhm.
And that thing looks so gross. I could have swore it was over there with. I've got some rods over there. I don't know where it's at, but that's
Yeah.
when I'm thinking back. That's
Yeah, I
the one
remember.
that I'm like, dude, the best buy I've ever freaking had for $20.
Yeah, I remember I got mine at Shields and I had a gift card there, and it was like $75 gift card, and I had to pay like $10 or something like that to cover tax or something. So it was a sub $100 rod, and dude, God, neat moment.
Nick with the $5 bomb. Nick, appreciate you, my friend. He said, "What is your essential toolkit in your backpack?" I don't know that I really have a toolkit, but I will say like the 3 essential things that are in. I've got 2 backpacks. That light sling one. I don't know where that's at. Fish, whatever the hell it's called. Fish something. I got it on Amazon. And then my like tackle warehouse. I actually just switched out the tackle warehouse the beginning of this year for the
Oh
Fish
dang.
Lab one through Okuma. Yeah, I finally switched it out. Bigger. It's definitely a bigger bag, but tackle warehouse, I stand by that bag. Probably one of the best bank angler bags you could get. But for sure, pliers with the braid cutter on it. That way you've got
hmm
cutters. You don't need scissors. You've got the
I
cutters
like
and your
the
pliers.
outside cutter, right?
Yeah, on the outside. Yep. That's what
hmm
I was trying to grab that bag or grab that bag. I'm trying to remember where I have it. It must be out in the garage. But yeah, so the cutters on the side of the pliers. I don't like the pliers that have the split ring on them, the split ring tooth, as far as for my
Right.
like fish pliers. But I would say a pair of split ring pliers, like small ones, because the ones on like the big pliers, the split ring thing is just too big. And if you're consistently messing with split rings, Texas
Yeah.
Tackle has the best split ring pliers out there. So split ring pliers, regular pliers, a scale with the fish gripper thing on it.
hmm
What was the other thing I was going to say? Scale, pliers. Oh, and a wacky tool. So those are like the things that I've
Okay.
got in both. And then I'll switch out my boxes. But yeah, wacky tool, split ring pliers, regular pliers with the cutter, and then your scale.
Yeah. So Debo, last time we went fishing, I think I had my new, I guess, little bag, if you will, if you will. It's what's it, the Samurai, God, I don't remember. It's a Samurai Saigu, something or other. And that thing is very nice. It's a smaller bag. It's not quite as small as um, your sling bag, but I really enjoy it. But again, I'll agree with a pair of pliers, the scale with the grips on it. And I'm going to go a little bit different, and I don't know if this is, along the same lines or not, but I want some sort of like dye or dip or attractant in some way, shape, or form, like a spike it
Oh, that's a
pin or
good
something
call.
like that.
Spike it pen. Yeah, that's another good one to have in your kit for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah, good
Like
call.
if there was just, a handful of things, but I would totally agree with the wacky tool. I don't throw it nearly as much as what you do. Um, but outside of that, I mean, I always have a knife in my pocket, so I don't need anything like that. But
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
yeah,
I've always got my
your
knife.
tanto.
Want to see my
Oh,
tanto? This isn't a tanto.
is it
This is
the
a
tanto?
serrated
Kershaw
/ normal, which I don't
something.
like.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm not a huge fan of it. Tanto, sharpening my tantos is a pain in the butt, so I've kind of moved away
Oh
from
yeah.
it. But G Jones, attached or unattached side plate. So my thing is, this side plate doesn't need to attach if I don't need to get in the reel to adjust it. So if it's a reel like this, where I do all my adjustments on the outside, I don't care if I take this off and it's not attached. No big deal. If it's
hmm
a reel like, I don't have my concept here. But 13 Fishing got it right. If it's a reel where I have to open up the side plate to get into it, like 13 stuff, they've got that beetle wing side plate that stays attached.
hmm
Boom. So like something like my SLX or some of the Shimano's where you take it off and like it can fall off. Like I think you got to attach it. I don't like why is that a thing?
Yeah. Like
It's got to
how
be
it's
attached all
just
the
like
time. Actually,
not
no, the
marking.
SLX is attached. Now that I say that, isn't it? There's some companies that
Mm,
don't do that though. Hold on.
mine's over in the
Honestly, I think the
corner. I don't
SLX
know.
stuff. Actually, I think the
I was
SLX might be attached.
I was gonna say that it's like, why wouldn't you attach the side plate? Is almost like saying, why wouldn't you put the diving depth on a crankbait, the weight on
Yeah,
any type of like
constant
terminal
weights and
tackle
stuff.
or
Yeah.
anything, you know?
Well, I don't know. Now I'm second guess. Oh, here it is. Okay, let's find out. I guess I could have looked on the warehouse of tackle, but here we go. Is it? I said it wasn't.
I
Now
don't
I'm second
I
guessing.
don't
I think it
remember.
might be. Oh, it is. Okay,
That's the
so I
way to
take
go.
back what I said.
God, what was it that I think it was a lose reel with the Dobbins rod Debo, the orange combo.
Oh, that's actually what it was. Yeah, it was one of the loos that has the double brakes.
That one does that side plate is not it doesn't
It is
have an
not.
attachment.
Lose doesn't do that. Yeah, I think that's
And
what
I
it was.
remember
Was a
that
lose. Yep.
you remember where the pandas and the otters were eating all the fish. We were
Yep.
standing there and we were standing on drains, like tubes that went from one side of the road to the other side of the road. And I remember taking it off because I needed to adjust my brakes because I switched to a lighter lure. And that thing, like somehow I managed to like half grab it with my knees, but kick it over to the side and it landed on the bank just perfectly. But that thing would have been 100% gone had it hit the water. It would have gone
Yeah,
through
and
the
I think
tubes
even
and
this
probably
one.
hung up.
So yeah, lose. This is, I think, the biggest under the radar reel that Lose makes. How the hell do you even? Yeah. So for example, like on this one, this is the custom SLP whatever. But so these ones they call it, well, it's like the MSB brakes, multi-setting brakes is the internal
Mm-hmm.
centrifugal brakes, and then it's got the external magnetic brakes. So this is the magnet on the outside you can see here. And then on the inside is the centrifugal brakes where you actually have to click the pin. Any one like this where you have to get inside, I feel like they should attach it. So this is one, yeah, it was a lose, but I actually did
Mm-hmm.
lose. No pun,
You
sort of pun
you lose, you
intended, kind of.
lose.
That I lost the side plate to, and I don't remember which one it was. But yeah, that is one drawback about reels like
Oof.
this.
God.
If I can get this on now.
And right after the Fat Boy comment of stay longer, there's a Mike Vogel this or that that I would like. I don't. I guess I don't even know your. I don't even need to ask your take on it. I'm fairly certain I know your answer.
From Mike. Oh, right after it. So Nick, thank you, my
Yep.
friend. We will stay. We're already at 2 hours and 12 minutes. We've still got 225 people in here. We've dropped a little bit, but I still can't believe we're over 200 people in here.
Yeah, it's
Y'all are
crazy.
crazy. I love you guys. So okay, this or that. Uh-oh. Casey's
No.
biscuits and gravy, and you get to the fishing spot 1 hour before sunrise. Okay, or small town diners, B's and G's, but you get to the spot as the sun crests. I'm gonna put it over here. Let's see how well Randy knows me. I'm gonna put it over here where you can't see it. Can you see it here?
I mean, DEBO'S going and getting Casey's B's and G's and getting there before the sun comes up. This guy is like, oh, we talked the night before, and it's like sun comes up at 5:54. DEBO'S like, let's meet at 2 a.m. just to be sure we get there on time and we beat everybody else.
No. I
Well,
say 2 a.m. to make sure you get there on time, which is as the sun comes up, which is what I picked. Small town is what I'm going with. I'm going small town B's and G's because I'll tell
dude,
Randy that we're getting there
whatever.
an hour before sunrise. He should be showing up right as the sun
Dude, would
crests.
I
And
mean,
I have good B's and G's.
God,
Oh my
the
god.
day after work, I was like, yeah, you wanna come out here, late day or late afternoon fishing, like meet me at 5. And I'm calling Debo. He's not there. He's not there. It's like 7 o'clock rolls around, and Debo's like, oh, I just woke up. What's going on?
I
PM,
did. That
mind
was the
you,
one
PM, not
time.
AM.
The one time that he won't let me live it down. I took a little nappy nap after work,
Uh,
and by golly,
oh God,
Southeast Georgia, this or that, big swim baits or big worms, not even a battle for me. Big worms. I've caught lots of dinks on 10-inch worms. I've caught lots of fish on 10-inch worms. So as long as you consider a 10-inch worm a big worm, um, yeah,
I
big
mean,
worms all day.
I would love to catch them on big swim baits. I'm gonna go with the excuse of I just don't think they want those around here, so I'm going probably a big worm on this. But I'm not anywhere near the Debo level of comfort in fishing something like that.
Bassless. If you could only have one gear ratio for your reels, what would it be? I think kind of what we talked about before. For me, like a 7-ish speed, 7, 7.2, even up to 7.5 in the lose. The thing you have to keep in mind is the bigger the spool is, the more inches per turn it's going to have. So you might have like a 7.5 to 1 with like a 31 millimeter spool, a smaller spool that doesn't bring as much line in as a 32 or 33, 34, whatever spool that's a little bit slower. So you could actually have a slower gear ratio with the bigger spool that's bringing in more line per turn than a faster gear ratio. I just got nerdy on y'all, sorry. But
I think
7-ish speed.
I think I would like the something in the 6 range personally because I want more torque on the, the getting it through the stuff just because I feel like with jigging I don't need as fast or personally I've never wanted as fast. I want more torque to get them up out of what I needed to. Personal preference,
Personal preference, man. Yep. Mr. Reagan with the $1.99. I appreciate you, my friend. Roy, thank you very much for the donation. I'm almost out of drink. I think it's almost time to get out of here. 2 minutes, 2 hours, 15 minutes in. St. Lawrence. I'm not that far behind.
Creek and Trail at 9:43.
Yeah, I just clicked
pegged
on
or unpegged.
Nick's right before it.
Okay, yeah.
What bait has caught you the most bass for your entire life so far? I don't think I could say like a specific nailed down to anything, but I would say as far as like rig, if you count it, I know that's kind of cheating. Texas rig for sure for me.
100%. I would agree with that.
But I don't know that I could. Like a ribbon tail worm has to be probably number one, I would say.
Some kind
Pit Boss was there for
worm.
a long time. Was like the only creature bait that I threw forever.
Yeah, as crazy as it sounds, I'm going Texas rig as well. And honestly, that's probably where I really like made that step from, oh, I'm just throwing a spinner bait and then I'll probably, drown a worm for a while kind of fishing to Texas rig and then kind of moved on a little bit more and more and more from there. So Texas rig is probably where I'm going.
Creek and Trails. So here it is, Randall. Weighted Texas rig, pegged or unpegged. If I can get away with it, I'm always going unpegged. Unpegged has a much more natural, like regular falling kind of, the weight will hit, and then you probably got like a foot to 2 foot of line that's like catching up, and it's like kind of doing that slow shimmy fall behind it. But yeah, if you're in the thick stuff, pegged all day.
So we're saying pegged as in directly pegged above the weight, above the hook, versus unpegged could be a foot up your line or 2 foot up your line, but you still have some sort of stop, or no? There's no stop whatsoever on unpegged.
No stop.
God, I don't remember the last time I fished a Texas rig without a stop on my setup. Yeah. Because I'll put this, like, we're fishing 7-foot rods, so I have 7 foot of possibility to, have my peg that far up my line. I don't know what it is, if it's subconsciously like, oh my God, I can't throw this Texas rig without
then it just gets in your way. Then it's getting stuck on guides, and I don't know.
Yeah, I'm never really going that far. Usually it's like a 2 foot maybe
like
at
a
the
foot
most.
Or something.
Yeah, but I usually have a peg of some kind.
Yeah, I'm unpegged if I can get away with it, but if I know I'm flipping the dirty stuff, man, you definitely have to go pegged. Otherwise, you're going to be getting tangled and breaking off and all sorts of craziness. Can't do other Saturday night, Stubby. Can you feel the love? Yeah, that's Mr. Stubbs has been known to do that. Let's see. I'm in need of all new. Oh man, that's a whole new. We need to get into like. I get this question. I
Oh,
need to do some sort of video breakdown because I get this question. What's the best budget rod and reel combo I can put together for $100, $150? I'm new to bait casting. I need to pick up one combo. What is it like? I get this question. I can probably look right now, and I'm guessing somebody's probably messaged me.
but
And I'm
there's
not
no
saying that
good
because I've
answer
got
to
one
that.
saved. I'm
There's
just
no single answer to that, I should say, because there's no two fishing spots that are alike to be able to really cover it all. I don't personally, and this is my personal opinion, I don't think you can go out for a day on the lake with one combo.
I didn't have
And
any.
that's just
So.
me. I think at minimum you would need 2 or 3 combos, in my opinion, like I said, to be able to
No, you could pick one.
efficiently fish. I could, but I would be annoyed by it, and I don't think I would put in full effort in fishing. So I take that into consideration as
You wouldn't
well,
put
you
in
know,
full effort of fishing. Yeah, I've only
because
got
I'm
one
like
combo. I'm not going to put in full
I
effort.
only got one combo, and I don't want to retie, and I don't want to do this, and I don't want to tie up this kind of combo, and then Debo's gonna make fun of me because I didn't use a double shindo, and I'm pegging my lure, and there's no need to peg it. And,
Oh my God. This is the thing, everyone. Randy, when we go out, Randy one has to turn everything into a competition. Doesn't matter what we're doing. I bet I can do this better than you, Debo. And
why
then when we
wouldn't
get to
you?
fishing stuff, it's always, well, Debo's way better than me at fishing. Debo's got a YouTube channel. Debo's got people that watch him. I don't use this thing. Oh my gosh, Randy. Slap you.
Oh. Meanwhile, Debo
Let's see,
doesn't want to
Buck.
bring up the fact that I'm talking him off the ledge. You're fine, dude. You're catching fish. You're okay. Quit being a little girl before I slap your face.
Oh, Randy. All right, it just jumped forward. I hate it when it does this. Let me say I don't think I missed anything. You can go on Gramps, frog fishing. Come on, Gramps. Come on, Gramps. You can catch the daggum frogfish, feller. Get it.
Come on,
Just
Gramps. Get it.
upgrade. Okay, I think we're at what? 2 hours. Okay, we're gonna take one more. One more. I'm skipping forward. Guess no
Oh,
giveaway. No cooler lid. I'm
I got
sorry, not
one.
tonight.
I got one.
Listen, next Saturday. Actually, I can say the guest because we're already good to go. Hopefully, it is good. But this is kind of an interesting one. Just kind of stumbled upon it. Let me see. I think I just want to make sure that's yeah. So Dylan Fogarty. So this will be an interesting one. Young man who definitely is a stick. Does some tournament stuff. It should be a fun one. But I will definitely get a giveaway set up for that next Saturday. We've got him on. Be cool to pick his brain. We kind of got talking back and forth. He's like, yeah, man, I'd love to be on a live. So got that one set up. We'll pick his brain on tournament fishing as being a younger angler. And hopefully, we can kind of get in the ear of some younger anglers doing the tournament trail. Like that's something I've talked about before is where I grew up in a small town, like 4,000 people. We didn't have like a high school bass fishing team. And now you're starting to see like the collegiate level, oh, we've got a college bass fishing team and stuff that was not around when I was, going to college. At least where I'm at here in Iowa, I'm sure it was a thing in Texas and stuff, probably in the South more, but try to get some younger folks more into fishing and, kind of share his story, but I'll do one then. I will do a giveaway next week. What was yours, Randy? What did you see for the one more this or that?
Zach H at
Okay,
10:10.
we're ending at Zach H 10:10.
Frog fishing.
10:12. I'm going back 10:11. Straight braid. Oh man, no, that's an easy one. Zach, for sure for me. Frog fishing, straight braid without question. I know there's some people that talk about mono, and for me, the deal is I don't want any stretch. It's going to be a lot of the times it's going to be a long cast. I guess maybe you could argue mono, like if it's short stuff, but it's a long cast. I don't want any stretch. I don't want like the thing is I'm not playing a fish frog fishing, so it's not like I'm going to hook him and like let him
You're
get down in
horsing
that
them,
stuff.
honestly.
Yeah, I want to bring him in against his will, above all the gross stuff.
Assert your
And
dominance upon him.
assert my dominance and get him in as quick as I can. There's some
Right.
people that use mono. Some people try to argue it. Just the way I fish and the experiences I've had.
What would be
Not me.
a reason for a mono leader?
So if you have, because the other thing you have to think of is you've got two, not one, but two really big thick wire hooks that you've got to
Yep.
get through that fish. And if you throw out a long cast, I guess on a mono leader, we'll say straight mono first real quick. You throw out a long cast on straight mono, you've got a bunch of stretch. So trying to set those two hooks is, I mean, you can miss fish on a popper on a mono cast super long just because there's so much stretch. So let's say we go to straight braid with a mono leader. You got just a little bit of stretch with the invisibility, I guess, or I should say, of the translucency of the mono. Maybe they don't see it as much. If you've got smaller hooks and more open water, I suppose you could get away with it. But I guess I just don't see the advantage of putting a 7-foot leader on of mono on your straight braid. Because like when I'm fishing frogs, I'm usually fishing around vegetation, some sort of cover, something where I'm not thinking of that fish being line shy, like places where I would normally use a leader,
Right.
like braid to fluorocarbon if I'm throwing a wacky rig or a Ned rig, something where like I don't want him to get a good look at it. But that's just me. How about you?
Yeah, no, I mean, you know me, Devo. I don't like a leader ever. Like it doesn't matter what I'm doing. I'll have pink
That's
camo
true. I didn't even
braid.
think of that.
I'm gonna go straight braid, and especially with frog fishing and where we frog fish specifically, you don't have to worry about fish being scared off by, a little bit of line or them being able to see it because it's primarily going through scum and junk and all that stuff. So
Here, so this I ended up rolling across this. So Gramps said I could waste time with frogs, or I could catch them with jackhammers. LOL. So the thing is, though, you can catch those fish with the frog where you can't throw that jackhammer, Gramps. Gramps, we need to set a date. We need to set a date and get together and fish, dude. Catch a halfway spot and let's get it set up. Let's go catch some frogfish.
man, oh,
Randall, if you ever get back out this way, I don't know if you're out there. You think it's a gold rush. You're out running west looking for the gold out there. If you ever
I'm
get
a
back,
49er.
I'm a 49er. All right, listen, we're getting out of here. We're almost 2.5 hours. Hopefully, y'all got your money's worth tonight. We went on some tangents. We talked about baitcasters and spinning. It was a bunch of fun. I love y'all. Ton of fun. Randy, you got any closing words?
Get out and fish. Hour to fish, 30 minutes to fish, doesn't matter. Get out and fish. Have some fun. Enjoy yourself.
Well said. All right. With that, we'll see y'all next week. Like I said, I'll have a giveaway next week. We still have 225 people in here. No giveaway. Rambling about nothing. This is why I do it. This is why I never don't look forward to a live. Love y'all. We're getting out of here in a